Hello, everybody on YouTube. How are you tonight as we get ready to kick off another edition of the Mighty SOR here? Coming up in just moments, the lovely and talented Asherah 7 is our guest tonight. Not Asherah 6. No, it's not 6 minutes abs. It's not 8 minute abs. It's Asherah 7 minute abs is what we are doing tonight, and we're going to have some fun with her. She is a brilliant young mind, very studious in the subjects. She's going to come in and tell us all about her personal experiences and where her research has taken us. And just for the record, she does have nice teeth and very nice hair. Very nice hair. So we will get that on the record right off the bat here, because I know you guys are jonesing to know just as much as I am. Before we bring her in, let's give a shout out to everyone who is in our chat room so far. Race Fan in the gold medal position, James Smith in silver, Sultry Susie in bronze. Hi, James Horn. Or James Smith in silver. James Horn is fourth. Gorgeous Katie, how are you? How's the lower mainland tonight? Let us know. Hey, Dirt Road and Stunning Renee. Shutdown, welcome to our, what the hell is this? This is a radio show. So welcome here. We appreciate you coming on in. Oh, there's one of my favorites, the gorgeous and talented Simply Coco. She will be signing autographs after the show, so line up outside the studio to the left for her autograph. Brett Lewis is here, everyone, which means we can officially start the show. Oh, there she is, stunning Becky Belling. Yes, she will throw you a kiss, gentlemen and ladies. She'll just go, mwah, just like that to you. Hey, Hungry Burrito, how you doing? Richard Elmore, good to see you. Little Deborah, thanks for coming on in. Hey, Hungry Burrito again. Princess Denali and the lovely and talented Steph Dickey, 405er, is here as well. Worsley, the male version of gorgeous Becky Belling, he will throw you a kiss as well. Mwah! There you go. I know you guys are laughing over that right now. So have a good night and enjoy the show. Millennium, good to see you, my friend. John Swan and Oscar, thanks for coming on in. Lord of Land, good to see you. Where am I here? There we are. Michael Latuska, how are you, my friend? Good to have you here. Nucker, how's Oregon tonight? Let us know. Blue Book, good to see you. My brother Eugene in Philadelphia, I love you, man. Can't wait to have you on the show on Friday night. Project Activist, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Wendy Williams is looking wonderful tonight. Yes, Wendy Williams. Wonderful Wendy Williams is here. And the Jim Christie, everyone. The Jim Christie is here. Uncle Dale and his power stash, 2 separate entities down in Texas, 2 separate zip codes as well. Troy, how you doing, my friend? Good to have you here. Hey, Parkway, nice to see you back. Bigfoot, Michigan Rob, it's always a pleasure to have you here, my brother. How you doing tonight? Good to have you. And while we wait for other people to come on in, Asherah 7, not 6 or 8, 7. Yes, that is her real last name, 7. Not 8, not 4, not 9, 10, or 11. Definitely not a 13. All right. Yes. How you doing, Asherah?
Hello. It is 7.
7.
Yes.
All right. Jose, how are you? Mr. Man, Mr., otherwise known as Triple M around here. Good to see you. And, yeah. We've got like, it's over a minute here. Yeah. By the way, all of you on YouTube land, when you go watch the archives, I have finally figured out how to take away all of those commercials. I didn't understand what was going on because I'm not very good at the back end of YouTube, but I finally pestered around the other day and I found it. And I can honestly say that I figured out how to get rid of those commercials. So it'll be much easier listening from here on in. The Ronald Penton is here, everyone. The Ronald Penton. Good to have you here, Ronnie. I'm going to take my shoes off. Hi, Sherry Knight.
Yeah, take your shoes off. Nobody can smell if they smell bad.
No, you can't smell them. Cable Guy Matt is here, everyone. Well, remember, when you go shopping at facebook.com/the SOR Vault and order a t-shirt, you're going to get a free piece of autographed coaxial cable courtesy of Cable Guy Matt. Remember, you cannot buy these in stores, people. Limit one per order. You want this. You want this. It's like a fidget spinner, except with real coaxial cable. Make sure you get it today. Those are free.
Lovely.
Those are free. Solar Warden, how you doing? Mental Pancakes, nice to see you. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Sandra. Dirty Filth, good to see you. Golden Lee A, nice to have you here. Mike L, thanks for joining us. Remember, a great way to support what we do on this show is by hitting that thumbs up, hitting that subscribe button if you are new. The super chat is open. We appreciate all donations and do a little shopping at our store. Here we go. From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on TalkStream Live, Revolution Radio, and KPNL. If you want to take a listen to our archives, they are free for you at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. You can follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. Asherah Vii is relatively new to the field of the paranormal, publicly, that is, but quickly she is becoming a top-notch researcher and investigator into the unknown. Asherah is an investigator and data and historical collaborator at Uncharted Studies. Her studies are varying, but not locked onto one subject of the supernatural. Through Uncharted Studies, Asherah has taken on a spiritual journey of sorts, looking into out-of-body experiences and what happens to the human consciousness. She also has expanded her horizons by delving into the cryptid, paranormal, and ufological world. She is seeking answers to the unknown as an experiencer herself, trying to bring truth, justice, and the American way to the weird world we live in. Then at the bottom of hour number 3, I will bring you the SOR Newswire, brought to you by Paranoia Magazine. Asherah Vii, welcome to Spaced Out Radio. How are you?
I am wonderful, especially after hearing that bio. What a bio. Thank you.
I wrote that.
Yeah, you did.
I
and
totally
it sounds
did.
amazing.
Just nailed it. Nailed it.
Absolutely. Totally.
Well, I'm a little verklempt here because, you know, it's not often I have a guest that comes on this show that has better hair than me.
Oh.
And your hair looks lovely tonight, by the way.
Well, thank you very much. I didn't brush it. No, I'm just kidding. I woke up like this. I definitely brushed it. I do take care of my hair, but thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem. No problem. Thank you for doing this. And, you know, a lot of people may not be familiar with you because, and that's not saying it to be insultive or anything like that, but you're relatively new to the community, but you're starting to get a very big voice thanks to working with great people such as Steve Stockton and others of the sort. How did you get involved in this field?
I have been delving into the spiritual aspect of the paranormal. Well, I just figured out the other day, it was 11 years old is when we started trying to build up cases and go investigate abandoned locations using objects as simple as a pen and piece of paper, and building our own devices on things we could use and our own ideas, because, you know, this was a while ago. So this was kind of unheard of for people to be doing this. And as the field has grown, I have grown as well as an investigator. And I feel like recently my research and my theories have grown broad enough to where I feel comfortable coming out in the public eye. I feel like I've earned maybe a place to have a voice and talk about the research I've done.
So for you, being someone who's been doing this for a long time, why all of a sudden go public with it? Why all of a sudden try and make a name for yourself in this field like so many are trying?
Well, honestly, I've never been worried about making a name for myself. The biggest reason why I'm coming out publicly now is because I want to have that voice. I feel like I have learned a lot in this field and I want to share that and I want to grow and learn from other people. And when you're not out in the public eye, you don't get the same networking capabilities to work with people and to gain new ideas and new theories. So that was one of the biggest reasons. Plus, it's just as simple as I felt a pull to do this. There are some times where you just feel like, I feel like I need to do this, and you go and do it. I felt the need, the pull to come out more publicly.
So for you, what is it about yourself since you've kind of gone public that you've learned about yourself and this field?
I'm a lot more brave than I thought.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes, growing up, because I had so many multitudes of paranormal experiences as a kid, I grew to be very fearful. And the more I delved into it as an older age, as a kid, you're only delving into it up to where you feel comfortable. And then as you grow older, you're kind of getting pushed into more and more uncomfortable situations. And now today, I find myself being more than happy to repel using not that great of equipment down into a cave just because I want to see what's in it. because, and um, Going into dark spider filled cellars that could be, have paranormal activity in them. It's just things that I never thought I would be willing to do. I'm doing. I kayaked through an underground, well, it didn't used to be underground. It's now a flooded dam. But when the waters got low enough for us to be able to check out a new level further down, we kayaked under the building. So these are all things that I've gotten to do through this work. And I found out I am much more brave than I ever thought I was.
Oh, okay. Well, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. And for people who don't know you, you are an experiencer as well. Do you recall your first experience into the paranormal or supernatural that really got you excited about this?
Yeah. Uh, well, I had some little things that would occur around me. It piqued my interest, but it scared me more than anything. And I would try to talk to my mother about it. And she would never believe me, because she's like, "Oh, your child, you've got a very big imagination. You're just imagining all this stuff happening around you." Because I had never seen anything. It was just movements and things. And then one day I was outside and I heard my mom tell me to do something. And I'm all the way outside. And I go in and I said, "What did you need?" She said, "Where were you?" I said, "I was outside." She saw a figure walk through the living room and into the kitchen. And it just didn't dawn on her. And then when she thought back, she was like, "Wait, I don't even know who that was." She thought it was me because she was so wrapped up in what she was doing. And when saw me come in from outside, it was that moment where I was just like, I could really open up a lot of eyes to this phenomena that a lot of people tend to sweep under the rug. And I think at that point, I was almost 13. And that's when I really just delved in and, did as much as a teenager could without parent supervision. So a lot of abandoned buildings explorations for sure as a teen. I wouldn't recommend doing that. It's very dangerous, but it was a lot of fun as a kid.
Shira, for you, having that experience with your mom and now having her see something paranormal, so to speak, how did that change the relationship between you, or did it? Did she just be like most parents of that era and just kind of sweep it off like it was nothing? We're not going to talk about this.
No, actually, she did the polar opposite. She really wasn't comfortable talking about it. I really had to pick and choose my times that I would try to speak to her about things. And I had to slowly bring up the topic, but she became more comfortable with talking to me about a variety of different topics. And but the moment I would mention they were real, then she'd quiet the conversation. But as long as I didn't mention that I thought they were real, she would talk about them. And that includes like cryptids and things like that as well. So it did stop her from second guessing me more often in the future for sure.
That had to be, kind of vindicating for you.
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And it was kind of like one of those things where the kid can smirk and say, "I told you so."
Yeah, I remember, and this isn't going back that long. I mean, I'm 47 years old. I know I look about 65,
No,
but
not at all.
no, I do seriously. It's the gray, but but I remember when in 2013 when I had my Sasquatch experience, and I remember calling up my dad, and I was excited. I'm like, Dad, you're not going to believe what happened to me today. He's like, what's that? I said, my buddy and I we were in the forest, and we saw two Sasquatch like within 100 feet of us. No, you didn't. Well, yeah, we did, Dad. No, you didn't. Don't talk to me about that crap. And finally, I kind of exploded on my dad, and I ended up hanging up on him because I said to him, I said, why the hell would I waste my time? I used much more colorful language because that's what hockey players do, you know. And I used much more colorful language, but I said, Dad, why the hell would I waste my time calling you saying that I saw something if I didn't see it? Do you think I'm that stupid? Right? And my father then usually will go into his normal, well, he used to go into this normal talk about the hockey game or politics or Coke versus Pepsi type
Yeah.
conversation. And I just went, you know what, Dad? Screw you. And I hung up the phone. He tried calling me back. I didn't even bother answering. Didn't even,
Yeah.
because I was just so pissed off. So you're actually kind of lucky that this kind of awoken your mother.
Yes. Only sometimes though. It was probably about 25% of the time I was free to talk a little bit about it. Most of the time it was one of those, uh-huh, okay, okay, uh-huh.
Oh, I
And then
recognize
go on
that.
to something else. Yeah. So it wasn't like she was shooting me down like she did before, but she just a lot of times she wouldn't want to talk about it. But then 25% of the time on average she would be willing to open up a little bit. She was even opened up a little bit enough to tell me some of her own stories. So I know she believes in him, but she just doesn't feel comfortable talking about it, I guess.
So for you, after you had your first experience, did things pick up for you? Is that how it worked? Like for many of us?
Yes.
Oh, take us down this road.
It went off like a bomb. And I don't know how your audience feels about, or you even feel about, precognitive dreams. I'm a little iffy about them as well, even though I've had several of them. Um, but it was back to back about for about a year after that, and it was like every time I turn around, there was new and different activity all the time. It would last for a month, 2 months, up to 6 months, sometimes a year, and then it would go away, and then there would new activity would start. So it was almost as if there was spiritual activity fluctuating in and leaving.
Don't you hate that?
Yeah, because you can't. I mean, and you grow to realize that there's a point where reaching out to them, unless they're desperately reaching out to you, is almost pointless because they're going to be gone in a few days or a week or whatever. So anymore, when there's activity that cranks up, I'll just set down my baseline rules for residing in my home, and then it's gone after 2 weeks, and then another one will come in or a couple at a time. It's just the activity always changes, and a lot of people question me and tend to question the activity that I experience because it happens so frequently. And what I have to remind people is I'm not like you. I I invite this stuff in. I go out seeking this stuff, and I often, depending, will say, "Hey, hitch a ride, get out of here, whatever you got to do." So I'm often inviting this stuff in, and so why wouldn't I have obviously more activity than the average person? So that's what I have to remind people. They're like, "Oh, but you have so much going on. It can't all be true." Well, it can because it is, and it's because I invite it in. It doesn't bother me. I've lived with it for so long that anymore is almost a shrug of the shoulders.
See, that's the big thing that I have is, and you're so right, and I think you explained it so well, is for those of us who are experiencing this, we never know when it's going to happen, and it comes in droves. All of a sudden, you're going to get 3, 4, 5 nights in a row where you get some major activity, and then
Yep.
it goes dead for a month, and you're left
Hmm.
there like kind of like with your hands up, like, did that crap just happen?
Yeah. I call it the buildup. The buildup is where it's almost like it's drawing its energy. And then you have this big explosion of all this crazy stuff that goes on, and then it's quiet. And then it's got to build up again, big explosion of activity, and then it's quiet. And a lot of times the activity doesn't go on for longer than a week. And it usually takes about 2 to 3 weeks for it to build back up again. That's usually the rotation that it happens for me in.
No kidding. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in a, as sad as it sounds, I'm in a real dry spell for my own. It's
It almost
terrible.
gets boring,
It
doesn't it?
is. Well,
Yeah.
you get angry though. Do you get
Mhm.
angry with it? Because I do.
I do. And it's oftentimes when they get into things that they're not supposed to be doing. And I know it sounds crazy as if you're talking about these entities, but they are, but they're just, you can't see them. But one time I had this big duffel bag of medicine and I put it in a chair and I was going through it and it was there for almost all day. And then I come back in and all of a sudden everything just starts falling out of it left and right. I pick it up, shift it, put it down on the floor, stuff starts falling out again. And I'm like, stop. This is something that is annoying me. Get off my stuff. Stop messing with my stuff. It's one of those things where there's boundaries. And when those boundaries get crossed, you get angry. So yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of unbelievable when that kind of dead spot hits because you have so many questions. And for people out there, and the majority of people haven't experienced anything who listen to this show. For the people out there who've never experienced anything, explain what it's like to have an experience and then have your head fill with about 500 to 1,000 questions all at once that you know you're never going to get answered.
Yeah, that's a big one because the most frustrating thing about it is you experienced something strange. You you got to convince yourself almost because you almost try to talk yourself out of what you've experienced. Like, say I saw a shadow just walk across my room. You're like, your first instinct is to start freaking out, like, oh my God, what I just see? And you're like really amazed, almost, well, me, I get excited and I start jotting down notes and stuff. But then I start thinking, I start second guessing myself. What if it was a car going by? I've never seen a shadow cast over here before. I'm going to call somebody and we'll talk to them about it. You call somebody that you can trust and they shoot you down. So then you start second guessing yourself even more. And it almost becomes hurtful to a point if you haven't built up a skin to it, because it seems like you can only reach out to a very small percentage of people that you know who will accept what you've experienced. But you know what you've experienced, but they're basically talking you out of it to the point where a lot of experiences tend to not even get talked about.
That's the hard part. That's the
Yeah,
hard part is because we just don't know and we can't time out when things are going to happen. I mean, if we could plan it, imagine how much more science could be done with this, like true science. If we could plan
exactly.
and know when these occurrences were going to happen.
Hmm.
As we got about 5 minutes here before we have to go to break here at the bottom of the hour, we're going to get more into your stories and specific stories that you have regarding this. What have you learned about this phenomena that you didn't know, say, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago?
Oh, that's a really good question, and I have a really good answer. I am starting to learn that a majority of paranormal activity can be understood better when we understand the brain and the way it works.
Go into detail on that.
Okay. So I don't know if you've done I'm sure you know, tulpas, egregores. These are two entities that are said to be able to be created using energy alone, a collection of thought that's basically able to take on a form, a shape, an identity, a personality. And why? Why is this? Why has there been science that has delved into this theory, and why has it seemed to be proven to the people who are able to conduct it in a decent manner? And I speak of, I'm sure you've heard the Philip experiment. This is an experiment where there was a group of people who was given this big pamphlet. They were supposed to study it, learn this person, and they told the people that they were going to be in there communicating with the spirit. They gave them a whole baseline of his life. They basically created an entity and was able to research that in that day and age research methods, I guess I could say. This is an older experiment, but it's one that I call on a lot when I talk about tulpas and egregores. So I wonder if because I'm sure know, the more attention you give it, the more it draws it in. So I've started researching more about what if we are actually creating these entities? What if we're actually making this energy take on its own form? And we are creating spirits, not to say that they don't exist or that their story isn't any less relevant, but it makes somebody wonder. There's a lot of instances. And I'm not saying that at 10, 15, 20% of spirits aren't real. Maybe those are existing people that existed in life here on earth. But what if a big portion of these are our own creations?
The other part too that I always like to ask the question: how many of these ghosts are actually walking on their own timeline when we're the ghost to them?
Yeah, that's a really good theory as well. That's a fun one too, because there's been recordings and whatnot where it's almost confusing who's haunting who, where it's almost as if you're dipping into their time as much as they're dipping into yours. Like very confused spirits, like, who are you? What do you want? Why would they be asking that unless they think we're haunting them as well? So it makes you wonder if it's almost like it's a fun theory, a time slip. We're reaching into each other's time.
I told this story many a times on the show, and I'll fill you in. Where I really started questioning that was back in 2018, where we were doing a tour walk along the original Gold Rush Trail where I live. And we ended up, 9 of us, running into a husband and wife. We found out they were Chinese. We found out that they were making their way north because there was a large Chinese settlement up in the Barkerville area, British Columbia. And we talked to them for about 10 minutes. 9 of us had K2 meters, and they were all lighting up to like orange and red. It was pretty powerful stuff. And we said goodbye, and they flashed, on the machines for the goodbye, but they wouldn't leave until I decided to walk down, because there's always a little mystery to solve. I decided to walk down the path and realized that my K2 meter was going off, and that's where it clicked in. 2 people heading up north. They have to have a horse and buggy.
Mm-hmm.
And when we cleared the path, all the lights started going off as they passed through.
Oh, nice.
So we went from full markings on a K2 meter, right to red on the K2. So for people who don't know, it goes green, yellow, or yellowish orange, and then orange, and then red.
Yes.
Right? And we literally had 9 K2 meters. You could see them turning off back to green as this couple and this horse and buggy started passing by.
That's awesome. And
so
that's a really valid point, though.
So that's where I kind of got the theory, like, okay, are they seeing us? Do they know it's nighttime? Are we on their timeline and we're the ghost to them? What do we look like to them?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I really didn't know.
Yeah, I love that theory too, because there's so many instances and stories that people tell where it seems to support that almost. So
True.
It is a fun theory, and I definitely do not throw it away.
All right. Asherah 7, not 8 or 9. We are going to get you to hold on right there, because we're going to go to break at the bottom of the hour. When we come back with the lovely and talented Asherah 7, we're going to hear some of her ghost stories. She's going to freak us out. Get ready. Asherah 7's ghost stories coming up next on the mighty Spaced Out Radio. All right, we are clear. YouTube audience can hear us. So,
yay.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was.
That was fast.
Yeah, it did go by fast. I was surprised.
Uh-huh. All right. Spreaker chat. Hey, Vic Condor, good to have you back for the first time in a long time. Tim Claremont, you're looking good, buddy. Uncle Dale in the Power Stash, looking fantastic. All right. I think we're all caught up here in the YouTube chat room as well. What's this say, Desert Clam? Oh, the desert. Oh, the Devil's Tower. Yeah. Very cool. Asherah 7. What's your thoughts on eating breakfast foods for dinner?
I know the answer to this question, but I have to be honest. I don't mind it as long as it doesn't involve too many eggs. It's not one of my favorites, though. I will say that. French toast is amazing, though.
For breakfast.
With buttery syrup, yes.
Okay. Steve Stockton, you could have warned me about this.
Well, hey, I do admit it's not my favorite, but if it's French toast, I just might do it.
All right. And Raul, I did say hello to you earlier. I did. Raul says I need to kick you off.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Yeah, Raul's on team breakfast for dinner.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
No, I said I'm half and half there. I fit into both squads, just not quite into either.
Yeah, well, you're from the East Coast, so I mean, you do things differently over there.
Touche. We are a weird bunch.
Yeah.
I'm not going to deny that.
Hi, Nicola. How are you doing, man? Mm-hmm. Hey, Human Carl. Human Carl's in the other chat room on Spreaker, everyone. Human Carl's one of the great veterans who listens to this show. We love you, Human Carl. Love ya.
I love your name, Human Carl.
Yeah, well, that's because we can't get him confused with Carl the Alien.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah.
That's a good move.
We will never, ever get Human Carl mixed up with Carl the Alien.
No, it's impossible. You slightly change your name. So.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So, Human Carl is the man. And he's a kick-ass veteran, too.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, he's an amazing dude. Amazing dude. He always hates it when I talk about it, but I don't care.
Well, he deserves praise.
Absolutely. Usually right around now I clap. Human Carl, everyone.
Woo!
Human Carl.
It was a rave.
Exactly. All right, we got about just over 90 seconds. Is that your phone vibrating, or is that a cat purring?
That's my dog. She's sick, so she's laying right here next to me.
Your dog's snoring?
Yes. She's not feeling well, so I'll just I'll give her a little shake. She'll stop.
That's actually kind of cool.
She's got to get eye drops every hour, so I've been having her right next to me. Yeah.
Oh, nice. All right. All right, we got 25 seconds. Thank you to Cat Chaser for the awesome super chat. And want to say a big thank you. It's a great way to support what we do. Thank you to our new subs. Thank you to everyone who's given us a thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs sideways, and do a little shopping. Facebook.com/the SOR Vault. Here we go. Second half hour of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for joining us. Really do appreciate you listening on in. I want to remind you that if you missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter @Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram @Spaced Out Radio Show. We continue on with Asherah Vii here on Spaced Out Radio. She is someone who is a relatively new name to the field, been investigating a long time. She's part of Uncharted Studies on Facebook. You can find the page there. Asherah, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you. I also just want to say I want to throw this out there. I also help co-host on an awesome podcast called Project Archivist alongside Rojan Razorwire every now and again. So it's been a lot of fun with him as well. So I just wanted to kind of give him a shout out.
Exactly. Thank you.
It's a good show.
When can people hear it?
It's posted a new show usually every week. He kind of has his own schedule. Because he's the only one who does every bit of it. So, and he works obviously. So he tries not to make a schedule, but it's usually new every week. And if not, you can catch a great older show.
Perfect. I want to know a ghost story. Our audience wants to know a ghost story because you love the paranormal. You've had some weird things happening. Let's start off with the weirdest one that's happened to you that you just could not explain.
Oh man, that one is a big one.
Let's get into it. We got time.
So when I started delving into the, darker side of things, trying to seek out understanding of the darker side of paranormal and such, I think I opened a doorway of sorts unintentionally. And when it happened, I was sitting on my couch. I was only 17 years old at this point. This was the most profound experience I've had that I can remember. And I was sitting on my couch upstairs. I had the whole attic to myself. I had a living room up there, a bedroom, like a little kitchenette area. And it was really cool, but my couch had no backing. So when the back of the couch faced a window on the other side of the room, so when I'm sitting on my couch, I can see my TV in front of me and another window above it. So there's a good space between the couch and the wall behind me. And as I'm sitting there, I feel this rush of energy come in. And it's just like something flying from far away and just coming and hitting me really hard. And it was like just this rush of energy that hit me. But just a nanosecond before it hit me, I heard my cats. I had 2 cats. And they had never fought before. And next thing I know, it sounds like they're killing each other. And as I go to turn, this energy hits me. And that's it. I can't remember anything after that. And next thing I know, I'm hearing somebody screaming. And I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And as I'm kind of waking up, I start to realize that it's nobody else. It's me. I was the one that was screaming. And as soon as I was able to recognize that, I stopped screaming and I started looking around, and my mom's like freaking out because I guess she had heard me screaming and come running upstairs. She goes, "What is the matter with you? What is the matter? We're calling an ambulance right now." I told her no. I said I just had a really bad dream. I didn't want to tell her what happened because she always got really upset with me when she found out I was delving into this stuff. She didn't want me going and seeking it out. So I didn't want to tell her. And so she said, okay. And I said, "Mom, I can't sleep up here. I just can't. I cannot sleep upstairs." So she says, fine. she sneaks me downstairs. My dad hated it when I slept downstairs. So me sleeping downstairs, he couldn't stand it. So she kind of like let me slip off into a side room, and I'm going to sleep there, and I kept thinking about my cats. I was worried about my cats. Well, finally I went upstairs the next day because I was too chicken to go upstairs and check on my cats. And they were fine. But there was hair all over the place. There was hair on the walls, like in the curtains, on the back of the couch. I mean, there was just hair everywhere. And I asked my mom, I said, what was wrong with my cats when you come up there? And she said, I don't know. It looks like they had just been in a fight, but they were laying there, fine. So at least I knew they were fine overnight. Whatever happened in that moment. And it just dawned on me about 2 years ago when I was retelling the story recently, a couple years ago, that it wasn't my cats fighting that caused that hair to be thrown all over the place. I really think whatever the energy that came in just tore them to shreds before they got to me. And they were fine. They didn't have any physical injuries, just a lot of tufts of hair missing. And then I checked my watch and it was stopped at 2:25. And I asked my mom what time she came upstairs, and she said it was about 2:30. So my watch stopped in that moment as well. But that was the reason it was the most profound experience for me for such a long time, is because I dealt with a lot of missed time. And I also dealt with a lot of unexplained behavior. So I almost wonder if I didn't have some sort of oppression going on for a period of time. And it took me a long time to battle it. It was a long battle. But yeah, that was my most profound, most scary experience ever.
Seeing something out of the ordinary like that, how did you react?
Um, I honestly, I think I was numb. I was afraid. That's all I remember. Every other feeling, every other memory, every other emotion, thought, I don't remember. I just remember feeling numb and scared. Like every other emotion was gone. And then afterwards, I almost seemed pretty numb for a while.
So, did you ever figure out what had really happened there, or was it just one of those expected fleeting experiences that just
No,
that just
I I definitely did. I definitely figured out what happened.
tell us?
Um, after that incident, it was like the paranormal activity in that house got 10 times worse than it ever was. Actually, there wasn't really any paranormal activity prior to that. It was after that incident that all that paranormal activity really erupted in that house. And it was just always negative activity all the time coming through. And it would just throw stuff around the room. We had chairs that would fly out from the tables, microwave that would just slam and open and slam. Um, it was just a lot of cabinet doors. You'd turn around to do something at the kitchen table and turn around, and the cabinet doors would be open on one side of the kitchen. Um, Phantom smells, mimicked smells, scents of my mom all over the house, and a lot of noise, a lot of vocalizations. It was just constant. And if you're in one part of the house, it would sound like it was coming from another part of the house. If you're in that part of the house, it sounded like it's coming from the garage. And bruises, a lot of bruises. Everybody in the house would wake up with bruises, whoever was there. And it would come in flows and fluxes again. It would die down, erupt, die down, erupt. Finally, I moved out. When I turned 18, I was gone. Well, when my dad passed away, I took over the mortgage of that home. And my mom took on the mortgage of a smaller house. So then I brought, my own situation into that house. And that's when I kind of figured out what the cause was. It was from that incident that many years ago. I basically blew open a portal. And for some reason, anything that came through this portal seemed to be negative. Well, I figured out how to really gain control over my home again and how to really put my foot down. And I was able to actually not necessarily close this portal because there was always still a little bit of activity, but none of it was negative like it was before. A lot of the negativity had went away. And after I kind of put my foot down and said, this is the way it's going to be. If you're going to do anything, it's going to be right here next to me, blah, blah, blah. And I think I was able to manage the activity that came out of that portal after that. So I, in a way, changed the way a portal acted, I guess you could say. But the activity in the house never stopped. It just stopped being negative. So I did kind of figure out what happened. I never was able to fully solve it. I don't think there's a way to really close a portal for good like that. I mean, if anybody else has been able to with any success, I would love for them to reach out to me because I would like to know how to do something like that. Because in all my years of research, I have realized that there really isn't any closing a portal where there's, and let me explain a portal. It's just basically a place that it is high enough in energy, low enough in sustainability to where something can pass through more easily than in other places. And I really don't think there's a way to close a portal, but if anybody has, reach out to me. I'd love to know.
For you having this portal experience, did you see things coming out of it or could you just feel it?
Absolutely feel it. And there was a couple times where I truly believe we actually saw it. In coming back to that home, I brought, I brought family with me. So, my sister lived with me there for a little while. A niece lived with me there for a little while. It was a big house and I helped people out, help them get back on their feet and whatnot. So anybody that was there at the time, there was like 4 people upstairs when we watched this happen. It almost looked like a light, like from a car would reflect and then bounce back on a wall. It looked like that. However, this is a second story floor and it's not near enough to the road where you could see any kind of reflections doing that. And to have the same effect, it almost looked like a crescent moon that went around in circles in the middle of the room and then pressed itself against the floor, went up against the floor and up the wall, into the wall, and then disappeared on around the other corner, was gone. And we all stood there just baffled. And I was like, do you think that was a car? Because there was younger kids, like teens at the time. They were teenagers. And I was like, do you think that was a car? I was trying to calm them down because I was really afraid they were going to be afraid. But they were cool with it. They was like, that was not a car. They was like, that was a ghost. So I was like, okay, cool. It's a ghost. We'll deal with that. we'll go with that. But it was the way it behaved. It was nothing like you would see the reflection of a car or the reflection of any object to do that type of maneuvering, to be able to spin in very visible circles and then cross the floor, up the wall, and then around the corner. So
Did you see any weird critters come out of it? Like spiders or like shadow beings?
no, but in this home, the same home, we would have these weird influxes of almost like infestations of things. We would get infestations of crickets in the house. And these crickets would just hang around for about 2 or 3 days and then they would just be gone, just gone. And, this was an older house, not old enough to where it would have access to this many insects and to be gone again that quickly. So that was kind of weird. We'd also get like weird influxes of flies and wall flies and gnats. It was just weird infestations of stuff.
Was this just affecting you or was it affecting other people as well?
It mostly affected me and other females. Me more than other females, but it really never. I don't know if any of the guys that ever lived there ever had any experiences. Because I mean, like I let my nephew and I call her my niece, but that's his wife, live there. He never had any experiences, but she refused to be anywhere near the upstairs ever. Same thing with my sister. Same thing with a really good friend that would come over and spend the night with me all the time. She always got messed with. So it seemed like it was after mostly females.
Do you think it was attacking females on purpose, like in a poor way, or was it maybe ghosts have been known to flirt in mysterious ways?
I'll be honest with you, there's not been many times where I haven't been able to really understand an entity and the way that they work and the way they function. I don't even know how to describe whatever was doing this over all these years. I don't even I would I would classify it, okay, the way it felt, because I get these feelings. The way it felt like multiple entities, but one, all in the same. It felt very unreadable, very in understanding of human concepts. Just didn't really. There was no consciousness to read at all. It was just like boom, boom, boom. You could feel the buildup. You could feel sometimes even feel the whole house just go boom, 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 boom. It was like the whole house would just like shake and vibrate. And a lot of times it was only the females that would hear and feel this. And it was you just couldn't get a reading off of this particular one. I never was able to figure out what it was, and then I just got it to go. So I never got any true answers on what this thing was. And I often wonder if I'm still not dealing with some of the trickle down effect from then, even.
Hmm. Were there ever any markings, any physical displays of bruising or anything like that?
Yes, there was bruises that would appear on my my legs, just on the upper portion of my legs. But I don't know how well versed your audience is. I don't want people to go to the incubus thing, because that is not what this thing was. I truly believe that's not what it was. Um, that was really the only bruises. But the thing is, I still get them to this day. So I often wonder if it wasn't, that's part of the bleed over that I'm talking about. Maybe I'm still having some bleed over from then, because that's when the bruises started, and they come in bouts. About once every year I'll get these bruises up and down my legs that are totally unexplainable. But there was one time where these bruises matched up perfectly with a good friend of mine. We were just talking, and I was talking about the bruise on my leg. She goes, "No way, you got bruise on your leg." There, she told me that it popped up mysteriously on her leg. So I had her send me a picture of them. One of our bruises looks very similar to the other. Like, that looks like a cross in the leg almost
Oh
of a
wow.
bruise. Yeah. And we both shared the same bruise almost to the T. Um, but as far as like this entity, no, it was not an incubus at all. I truly believe that. Um,
Have you ever tried to communicate with it?
then, yes, I did quite a few times, but it always seemed to make it worse. I definitely think this was not your common entity. I definitely think it was something very, very, very old, very, very, very strong. And so me giving it that attention just fed it. And its intentions weren't good. So obviously you don't want to feed something like that. So I just stopped communicating with it until finally, like, the rule was, don't talk to it. Don't, whatever you do, don't talk to it. It just makes it worse. But then when I put my foot down, I just yelled at it. Basically, I just put my foot down, treated it like a toddler. And that seemed to help. So whenever there would be an outburst of something that I wasn't comfortable with, I'd get on whatever was doing it, and it seemed to really help. And I've learned that over time, after dealing with all this paranormal activity I've dealt with, when you put your foot down and you really know that you have control over your environment, it really does help. It tends to control some situations pretty well.
What do you think was keeping this spirit over years attached to you?
Probably honestly, I think it's just my fear of it, because a lot of what was done was a lot of head games, lots and lots of head games. And I think that's where these manifestations were coming from. I think the whole intention was to make you feel like you're going crazy. The whole point is to weaken your mentality. It makes you an easier target. So when you start believing you're crazy because you got some people not knowing what's going on and some people knowing what's going on, you start to question yourself, just like we was talking about earlier. You question yourself. Often start to wonder if you're not crazy. That's the main goal of whatever this thing was. So I think that's what was really keeping it attached to me, was the fact that it was really able to get in my head and mess with my head.
Hmm. So do you think that this thing feeding off of your fear still has a little piece of you today?
Um, no, but if I often wonder if if it doesn't pop in every now and again. I don't really know if
Well,
it's a
stop right there. Do you know if it's
yes.
coming? Can you feel it?
Yes, I can feel the buildup. I can. I can feel the buildup. I try to find other explanations, other reasons for, the buildup, but I can always tell the difference between normal paranormal activity and the buildup. And the buildup, it really does make you feel like you're going crazy because it comes and it's like, pff, and it's not negative like it was anymore. However, it's just so much and so intense that it gets overwhelming sometimes. But that only happens like once every few months now. And it's like I said, it doesn't last for longer than a couple days and then it's gone. So it's just something that I have to deal with even if I'm not doing the paranormal or not getting into cryptid stuff. I'm still gonna have to deal with it. So why not seek my answers in the process?
Well, I gotta say to you, I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm gonna be home alone here for a week. And I know that the minute that I know I'm going to be alone, that weird stuff is going to happen. I know
Hmm.
for a fact that I'm going to have some aliens come on in, probably once
Yeah.
or twice, and I know I'm going to get scared, and I
Yeah.
know that it's going to happen probably around 3 o'clock in the morning.
Hmm.
I just know.
Yeah.
Can I guarantee it? No. Do I expect it? I'm pretty prepared. It's like there's this beacon where all of a sudden the house is empty. It's just me and the dogs and the cats. And I'm like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Here
I
we
know
go.
that feeling. That exact feeling where it's like everything's good and you just know. You're like, oh, here we go. So I know that. I know that feeling all too well.
It's a lonely feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, even a lot of people that experience the paranormal and who delve into some of the things that you and I may delve into, that doesn't mean you can go and talk to them about it because your crazy might be way too crazy for them. They're like, whoa, that's too much. That's too far. So it's hard to find people that you can just be totally open and honest with anymore. And I've got a really good friend that I can do that with. Um, so I'm glad for that, but at the same time, anymore, I just don't care. If you don't appreciate or understand the things that I've been through, then it's fine, but don't come at me in a harsh way over it. It's like one of those respect things. So anymore, I got to the point where I just don't care.
Well, I know that, but I mean, it just sucks to know that you have this experience that's building. You know the energy is building. You know it's going to happen. And all of a sudden, here it comes.
Hmm.
And in my head, I start getting Pink Floyd's. Is there anybody out there?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah,
That's what
and
freaks me out. But
yeah. And to know you're alone, and but if it, God forbid anything were to happen, who's gonna know? It's gonna be mystery.
but this may be the week coming up where the alien ship lands in my backyard. And after the show, I get to walk in and I get to fly away.
So you know what? That's the most epic of disappearances, though.
Totally. Totally.
Everybody's gonna question it, and they're gonna be talking about you.
1 hour down, 2 hours to go. Asherah 7 is our guest tonight. We're going to continue with the paranormal talk, get in some cryptids as well in hour 2 here on Spaced Out Radio. Stay tuned. All right, I'm clear. I'm just going to run my dogs out. I'll be right back, okay?
Okay.
Website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com and remember, Little Brother is watching.
I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. What to do? What to do?
Why not get Bumblefuck?
4 million Scoville units of pure hard rock. Bumblefoot hot sauces come in 3 flavors. The burning Bumble. Tone it down a bit with Bumblicious and throw the sauce on everything.
Spicing up. Bumble me, baby. Bumblefoot hot sauce. Get it today at kajans.com.
The party is always on at the Moose Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is where you want to be when visiting Canada's West Coast. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose cranks up the rock while serving some of the best rated food in the city. The menu starts at $6.95. Why party anywhere else in Vancouver when the Moose is right there? Get your horns up and rock with the Moose, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Are you an experiencer of something strange that can't be explained? Do you want help finding out what's going on? I'm Ryan Stacy, head of the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESSA. We've teamed up with Spaced Out Radio to investigate cases filled out in the SOR Sightlines report. We are independent and there's no cost to what we do. All we need is your experience. Let's find out what's happening together on the SOR Sightlines report.
We are scouring the world for the most intriguing stories of your day. Take the time to read up on the SOR Newswire, where our team, led by Captain Shirk, will deliver to you some of the best paranormal and supernatural news, along with some stories that will blow your mind from the weird to the wacky. It's the news outside the news that piques interest, and that's what we're looking to deliver to you. The SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Hi, this is Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel where we store all of the SOR show archives for free. And as an added bonus, every 2 weeks I'm posting brand new content on Cryptid Tales, where I will get into some of the spookier legends and folklore from around the world and tell the stories that go with them. Find us at youtube.com/spacedoutradio and check out Cryptid Tales today. Drop a comment and let me know what you want to hear. See you there.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at mightymoosebeard.com today.
Hello, Space Travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month.
All right, old Davy's back. By the way, for all us UFO nuts, today is the 54th anniversary of the Malmstrom Air Force Base incident, where UFOs knocked out the 10 Minutemen missiles for 10 minutes.
Oh. Nice. I didn't hear about that.
Yeah.
I've got to look into that. How long ago was that?
54 years ago today.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I actually have a weird UFO.
Do you got some aliens? You got aliens. Admit it.
I got aliens. I don't know.
You totally got aliens.
I'm sure I do.
You never go wrong with the little aliens. Hi, D. Swagger. How are you? Hi, Olin. Good to have you here. Right. We've got just over 1 minute.
All right. I'll be honest with you. I was a little bit nervous to come on a show of your caliber.
Oh, no.
I love it.
I just put my pants on one leg at a time.
Well, your hair looks very nice. That's all I can see.
It's true. The rest of me's gone to hell, but the hair is fantastic.
I can't see any more of you, but your hair looks very nice.
No, it's true. It's true. Hello, Bombshell Bomber. How are you? Fast Hemi, good to see you. I actually am wearing pants tonight, just so you know. All right, we've got about 30 seconds here. And I want to say a big thank you to Eric for the super chat and a double super chat by Cat Chaser. Thank you so much. It's a great way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis. I really do appreciate the love that you guys give us. Thank you to all of our new subscribers. And we're having a great show tonight. Let's continue it on here literally in about 5 seconds. Stay tuned.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Second hour of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We really do appreciate earning your listening ears. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on TalkStream Live, Revolution Radio, and KPNL. All of our archives are free by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Farinaceous. Farinaceous is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. We continue on tonight with Asherah Vii. She is from Uncharted Studies on Facebook. You can check out her group. She is someone who is researching the deepness of consciousness, paranormal, supernatural, the cryptid world. Personally, I think she's got some aliens too, but I don't know if she's ready to admit that just yet. Asherah, welcome back.
Thank you. I will openly admit I probably do have aliens.
It's okay.
I'm not gonna lie. I also am a recent a member of the NADP, which I'm sure you know that, North American Dogman Project. So I gotta point that out as well, because he has played quite the big part in really trying to pull me out there and get me to speak more openly.
Who's that, Jody Cook?
Well, Jody Cook as well. Also Nick Valente.
Yes, good guys.
Yes.
Both very, very good
amazing
guys.
Yes.
Love them both. We just had Nick on the show a little while ago.
Yes, he did amazing. He's very knowledgeable. He brings a whole new aspect to the field. His approach is very unique, and I love it. And I'm really excited to learn from him and get more into researching Dogman. So I'm really excited.
You know, that's the one cryptid that I do not want to run into. I've had a feeling that I've been around one, and the energy was like really dark and dreary and scary.
I have heard that's what they admit. Yeah. I had my own, what most would consider a Dogman experience. I will openly admit it's the only cryptid I believe that I have seen long enough to really call it a cryptid.
Well, you got to tell us this story. You can't hold out on us.
I just purchased the home that I currently reside in, and I was sitting outside because I was enjoying the fact that I could see all the stars, and it was pretty near full moon. I'm not saying the full moon had anything to do with it. I'm just mentioning the full moon because the full moon did play a very big part in the shadow play that caused me to be so confused about what I was initially seeing. It crept alongside a set of trees that it hid most of its upper portion of its body in until it was able to get out of the shadow of the trees and into the moonlight. At first, I thought I was looking at a deer that was coming out from behind my home and walking along this tree line. And I was like, that is a really fluffy deer. That was like my first words in my head was like, that is the biggest, fluffiest deer I've ever seen. Because it was on all fours. And as it came into the moonlight, my first thought was I didn't know what I was looking at. I honestly thought I was looking at a monster. And then as it came out further and further, I didn't know, this was quite a few years ago. I didn't even know Dogman was a thing. I had only researched the basics of cryptids at that point. And so Dogman was totally new. So I'm thinking I'm looking at this mythological werewolf creature. As it comes closer and closer and out of the moonlight. And now remember, I didn't tell you this part, but I had sat on top of a full-size van because I had just seen a set of possums run across the yard. And I didn't want to go in yet, but I didn't want to get ate up by possums that were acting all crazy, run across my yard. So I climbed up on the roof of my van. And that's where I was sitting with my legs hanging off. And as this thing came out from the tree line, it was just like, it's like everything bad plays through your head. You're going to die, was what I thought. And it trolled through the center of my yard. The whole time it's got its head hanging down low. It's sweeping its nose back and forth as if it's scanning the ground. And it's bent at a weird angle. It's almost haunched, like low to the ground, almost where its belly's like touching the ground. And it stayed on all fours the whole time and honestly looked sickly. That's the best way I could describe it. It looked almost sickly, the way it was moving slowly, the way it was rocking its head side to side. Never looked at me, never acknowledged me. I'm holding my breath, trying really hard not to breathe and, catch this thing's attention. And my heart is beating 90 miles a minute. And as it gets to the middle of my yard, it stops. And it was just like in my head, I just knew. I was like, this thing caught my scent. It caught my scent. And I'm freaking out. My heart's pumping. And it lifts its head up. And it doesn't act like it's sniffing the air. But in my head, I just think that's what it must be doing is sniffing the air because it's got its head pointed up. Puts its head back down the ground. Never looks at me. Turns its direction completely. Starts heading my direction.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. So I'm just like sitting as still as I can. I'm gripping the edge of my van. I'm like, do I pull my feet up? No, don't move. Because if you move, then you become prey. I just left my feet hanging off. I didn't know what to do. It comes up, gets right up under my feet, lifts itself up a little bit, gets its nose near my feet, puts its head back down, lowers itself back down, and goes back the way it was coming to begin with. And as soon as it hit the tree line, it was just like, this is my chance. I got enough time to get to my door. As soon as I saw its whole body disappear into the shadows of the tree, my feet were on that ground. I jumped off that van. I hurt myself like crazy because it was like a shock went up my feet and into my whole body from where I landed so hard. Ran to the house. As soon as I made it in the house, I just crumbled. It was like, I didn't know what to do. I freaked out. I had some friends over at the time. I was telling them, I just saw and I was thinking as I was like panting and hyperventilating, trying to explain it, I was like, you can't tell them it's a werewolf. You can't tell them it's a werewolf. So it was like really, really big dog. So here comes one of the guys that was in the house out there with a shotgun, like ready to kill whatever this thing was. It was gone. Whatever it was gone. But there was still that very nervous energy in the air. I thought maybe it was from where I was so scared. However, everybody else's experiences seem to have this very menacing air to it. So I wonder if that's not what I was feeling more than anything, because I worked with animals my whole life, especially dogs. I don't fear a dog. There's not a dog. It's just huge. So I don't know what it was.
What did it look like?
It looked like it had a tuft, almost like a mane. It was real nice and fluffy up top around its neck. Got to about its shoulders, thinned out. Became so thin it was almost like you could see through the hair. It was very sparse. And then at its tail, it became fluffy again. Its legs were bent at a very odd angle, almost like it was walking on part of its leg. The best way I can describe it is there is a movie called the movie Mowgli. Or is it Mowgli's or the Jungle Book? They have this hyena in there. That's the best way I can describe it. That's what its face looked like. It had a very big, bulky upper body, thinner waist, very big fluff up around its neck. The face was shaped a lot like a hyena would be. It was just, I for a long time I called it a science experiment gone wrong. There was no other explanation I could give it. But I've had a really intense Bigfoot experience since then. But again, I never saw it. So I never got that fear that seeing a cryptid gives you than when I saw it, whatever I saw that night.
So when it came up to you and you see this hyena looking thing, did it ever stand on two legs?
No. Nope. It almost seemed as if it was like struggling to like get out across the yard. It was just very sickly acting. And I think maybe that's why my experience is a lot more tame than maybe other people's. Like, even if these things are other dimensional, that doesn't mean they're impervious to illness. You know, like what if this was a case of an injured or sick, whatever these things are. So maybe that's what my saving grace was. Maybe that's why I didn't get mangled that night. Maybe that's why I even saw it to begin with. I'm not sure, but
You're sure it wasn't a bear with mange on the back end?
Somebody actually sent me a picture, its long legs looked very similar to that if it were to have went low to the ground, but a bear's body is way too short, because somebody did mention that to me. We pulled up pictures and everything. I almost had myself second guessing. I was like, wait, where's the fluffy tail? There's no fluffy tail. I remember that distinctly. So there's no fluffy tail on a bear that's long. And also the body was way too short to be a grizzly bear. This body was very long.
So for you, having your feet over, when it came up to you, how close did it get to your feet?
I remember it got pretty close. I'm pretty sure I may or may not have blanked out nearly completely. I don't remember what its face looked like up close. I remember it putting its nose up to my feet. I say in my head, like you imagine a dog when it does that, it's sniffing your feet, but I don't remember hearing a sniffing sound. I don't remember what its eyes looked like. It was like I was so freaked out, I just blanked. Like the thing being that close, it was just, I don't remember a lot of that portion of it. I just remember watching it put its head back down and kind of, sauntering off back to the middle of the yard again. But
like, was it like within inches? Like, could it have?
Yes. Yeah, it was definitely within inches.
And you're looking down at this at that time.
Yes. Yeah, I'm watching it on the ground, so I can't see its feet. So I never really got to see its feet up close. I just remember watching its head as it was sauntering over to me, because its head was down, and I was just like watching this massive body trail over to me. So I never seen its feet because I was looking down at it, but I definitely remember feeling I was going to pass out. I was like, I can't pass out right now. You can't pass out right now.
Were you too scared to yell, scream, move?
I was honestly, I was afraid if I moved or screamed, then that would make me pray. I figured my best bet was just to be completely motionless and pray. So that's what I did. And I wanted to pull my legs up as soon as I saw it come out from the shadow, but I was really afraid that if I moved or shuffled that it would be able to hear it. So I stayed completely still as much as I could.
My goodness.
It was scary.
So how do you keep your composure in that type of situation where there's a creature, you don't know what it is, coming up to you and getting within inches of potentially maiming you?
That's one of the 2 times I ever thought my life was truly in danger in my research. One of 3, but one of 2 from the entity itself. And it was just like one of those thoughts where you have to do this. You have to not breathe too deeply. You have to not twitch. You have to not move. You have to not speak. You can break down later. It's like one of those things you got to hear. You can do all that later. This right now is imperative that you don't move. So it's like one of those things where you you got to just hold it together in the moment, knowing that later on you get to break down.
I don't even know how to react to that. I really don't.
It was truly, truly frightening. I honestly thought it was going to because it could have reached me easily. I don't even think it was pushed itself all the way up off the ground at that point. I think it could have definitely grabbed me and just taken me away. It was scary, for sure. But that's my one cryptid that I've ever seen, was a potential dogman. And I guess it's the hyena version of dogman. I think it's a variant. I can't remember. Nick's better at this than me.
now let me ask you this. Have there been other sightings in your area of cryptid creatures like this previously?
Now, in that time frame, I was actually taking a break from my research. But when that happened, I delved really hard into researching that specific area, weird sightings. And there was a ramp up in Bigfoot sightings in that area around the same time, but I didn't find that out until like 2-3 years later, when the reports started being more published. So it does take them a while to get them, published and to be able to find those cases. So I didn't find out how high the sightings of Bigfoot in the area had ramped up until like 2-3 years later, when I was doing research on it again. So it is definitely, there was a definite ramp up in some sort of cryptid activity. However, isn't it really any way for people to report dogman experiences or dogman encounters. So why would they report it on a Bigfoot site? So there could have been.
So what kind of weirdo place do you live in where you're getting Bigfoots in the area, you're getting dogmans, you might have aliens, and you got plenty of ghosts?
Actually, aliens, I don't really know if I've ever had any alien visitations here in this home. However, I think the reason there's a higher amount of cryptid sightings in the area, mostly Bigfoot, is because I do live inside of the state park. So.
And you're in Ohio, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Because everything weird happens in Ohio or West Virginia. One of the two.
Yeah, exactly. We're just a bunch of weird people. It's just that's what it is. But
no frogmen or anything like that?
There is something called the Loveland Frog.
I know, but I'm saying around your house, you're not having any human-like frogs? Okay.
No. No, but that would be pretty cool, because I don't think I would be afraid of a giant frog head. But who knows? Maybe.
No kidding. No kidding. But, now your area, obviously living in Ohio, where there's a lot of weird and strange, do you look at it as something that this is a just par for the course for what happens in your area?
Yes. I think the stuff that we've been experiencing, which we've had a ramp up since I've been talking about this dogman experience that I had years ago, we've had a ramp up in very strange howls in the area. So again, am I drawing this stuff in by talking about it? But yeah, it's this area itself, I think, plays into the cryptid experiences that I've had.
Have you ever tried to communicate with that creature?
Not with the dogman. I'll be glad if I never see it again. No, I don't want to. Not with the dogman. If I had a team out with me, I would be more than happy to attempt to draw it in for some type of communication. But I don't often pull in a team for my area. I've never put a team together for dogman specifically. So I now know the proper people that I am connected with to be able to do that. But before I wasn't. So maybe we could check out this area at some point. But right now I have not been able to do that.
Were there any footprints around the next day? Any markings?
I don't know. I didn't check for any of that. This was so personal because it was on my own property, where I live, where I have to deal with this. It was one of those things where I just wanted to forget it. I really did. I didn't want to think that my area had the potential to offer that type of danger. So I didn't delve into it. I didn't record anything. I just definitely took mental notes. I did a lot of online research, which I saved a lot of that. But no, I didn't look for anything in my own property, and I should have. But again, it's one of those things that get way too close to home, literally.
And I think a lot of people don't understand that when it gets a little too close to home like that, you're almost fearful to investigate because of the fear of what you may find.
Exactly. It's better to continue to second guess yourself and just play it off as one of those things where you just never know. Maybe it was weird, some sort of creature passing through. It's easier to do that than to delve into it and find some real solid evidence that you might be dealing with a entity or a creature that's become well known as being dangerous. Because if I would have known about Dogman then by researching it then that I do now, I would have probably moved years ago, honestly. But the more cryptid research I've done, the more comfortable with that whole experience I've become.
I'm just amazed by that. I mean, without getting too personal, because, you know, there are some secrets that need to be kept. How big is your property, if you don't mind me asking? Do you have acreage?
No, well, a quarter of an acre. It's not too big.
Okay, so like I live on half an acre, so I kind of know what size that is. But I mean, that's still a pretty big yard. You know, are you surrounded by forest in that area?
It's like a miniature subdivision over here, which is what was so weird about it, because there is always some sort of activity, especially during these summer nights when this happened. I have a neighbor who is up all hours of the night, doing who knows what, you know, welding, sanding, drilling. There was nothing that night. Nothing. No dogs barking, no owls, no nighttime creatures other than the possums that I seen running across my yard, which I connect that now back to maybe they were running from it, whatever would cross my yard. There was no noise whatsoever. And that didn't dawn on me until the next day even.
Question coming from Human Carl.
Human
Carl, not to be confused with Alien Carl.
Right.
Human Carl is asking, could you tell us again what size dog you would equate this creature to? Like you mentioned a hyena, so that would probably be what?
Oh, it was way too big to be a hyena. It would be about 1.5 times the size of a wolf, I would say. Maybe even a little more.
Did it smell?
I don't remember a smell. No, I don't remember a smell. But then again, I mean, who knows? No, you know what? No, there was no smell.
And you haven't seen this creature again?
No, never again. But we did have another complete blank out of sound that was witnessed between me and a friend of mine. It was about 1 o'clock in the morning. We were standing outside and we were watching the stars, and all of a sudden all the noise stopped. And I look at him and I say, all the noise has stopped. And I had already told him that experience because it had come up in topic recently. So I know he's a little bit nervous about Dogman. So I brought it up to him, really just trying to mess with him, play around with him, try to freak him out a little bit. I was like, oh my God, all the noise stopped. He goes, it did. And I'm like, yeah. And then I waited a minute. I'm like, wait, it's not coming back. All the noise really did stop. What is going on? So then I started actually getting nervous, and it just playing around. Honestly, I didn't think it would work. I said, hand me your phone and I'll record it. So get the phone. Soon as we hit record, noises start back up.
Hold it right there. Asherah 7 telling us about a weird Dogman story. We're going to get into her Bigfoot story as well in the next half hour. Spaced Out Radio continues right after this. I'm just going to say that's one big fucking dog.
Yeah, that was big.
Yeah, I don't want to mess with that.
No, that's yeah. I mean, if I could play it off as a dog, I probably wouldn't be concerned as I am now. But I've worked with a lot of big dogs over my dog training career, and none that big, and none that put that kind of fear in me ever. And it definitely didn't look like a dog.
Oh, scary. 1 second here. Now, it's that time of the night, people, where old Davey's got to take care of his beard, and my hair. And I do that by using Gary the Dutchman's Mighty Moose Beard Oil. I'm using the True North blend. This is a brand new one from Gary, who's Dutch. And, you rarely will ever get a deal from a Dutchman. You really won't. But Gary the Dutchman loves Spaced Out Radio so much that he's going to give you a promo code, SOR 2019, for you to get your own beard oil. And for you ladies, it's not just beard oil. You can use it in your hair as well, because it's all natural, no chemicals. Show you how it's done. You just grab that, give it a little squeeze. I'm going to take that, drop it into your hand like so. Rub it together. Oh, that smells nice. Nice and foresty, just like the Canadian forest. And you just massage it in. Just massage it in. That's all you got to do. That's all I do. Take care of my lovely beard. Just massage it in. Yeah. And it sits there. It makes it soft. It makes it smooth. Makes me silky. Even get a little sheen to it. That's what it does. Puts a little sheen in there. And then you look at your hands, and your hands are all oily now. And you're like, well, what do I do? Well, for the ladies or the men, okay, all you have to do is put it in your hair. It's that good for your hair. It helps naturally oil your hair, which means, ladies, you're not going to get split ends. No, you're not. And for men with gorgeous hair like myself, you're not going to get split ends either. That's all you do. It's just massage it in. Massage it in. Just massage it in. MightyMooseBeard.com. Make sure you check it on out. Use promo code SOR 2019. Gary the Dutchman's going to give you a deal. And there. You're just fantastic now. I feel like a new man. All together like
amazing.
That. I feel like a new man. Yeah. That's it. That's it. Okay, back to normal. Mm-hmm.
It looks amazing on you. I love it.
No, it does, honestly.
The man bear pig.
Oh, I forgot the forward slashes there. Corin's the booking guy. Will put up the. We'll put up. Oh, there's the Dutchman right there. Gary the Dutchman. Oh yeah, Gary the Dutchman. Right there, hanging on out. He's good people. He's good people. Fapster, what's going on? Randy Spurl, how you doing? Oh, you did? Oh, there's gorgeous Larry. Hey, Larry, how you doing today, buddy? Give us an update on how you're doing. We need to know. Larry lost his mother just on Friday. So, for those who don't know, who are in our chat room, send some love and some prayers and some condolences over to Larry Schulte. His mama passed away this past Friday. We love Larry. He's here almost every night, and we want to make sure that he feels the love from everyone in the SOR room here. So big thank you. Big thank you.
Yeah. Lots of love.
Thanks, Corin's the booking guy, for us slower space travelers. I appreciate that. I hope you don't nick your mustache. Yeah. Four different scents. I thought there was only three, Gary the Dutchman. Have you been holding out on me? Because all I've got is the original, the Winter Blend, which is still my favorite, and the True North, which is nice.
Not the secret scent.
What is the secret scent here, Gary the Dutchman? We need to know. All right, we have approximately 20 seconds. Thank you to Cat Chaser for the hat trick. Sig, Miss Pickles, who went absolutely crazy on the super chat, but I thank you. Eric, and for the amazing super chats tonight. Absolutely feeling the love. Thank you so much for helping out Spaced Out Radio. Here we go. We pass the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Thank you so much for hanging on out. I really do appreciate it. I want to remind you that if you miss portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. We continue on with Asherah Vii from the weird, strange state of Ohio, where nothing normal ever happens there. Ever.
That's how I was born.
Well,
Nothing normal ever happens in Ohio. And then I was born.
oh, everything comes for and happens for a reason. All right.
Hey, I'll take it.
So you have this Dogman type experience. You have these weird, ghostly experiences. Do you think you're cursed in some way here?
No, I really believe that I have all this crazy stuff go on because I thrive on it. I seek this out. Life goes very stale very quickly when the activity dies down. So I fill whatever, no pun intended, dead space I have with research because it's what I thrive on. I enjoy this adrenaline rush of experiencing the weird phenomena, and the things I've gotten to do in the process has been awesome as well. So,
all right. You've had a Bigfoot encounter.
I have.
Before this happened, what was your thoughts on Bigfoot?
I wanted Bigfoot to exist. I really did, because the idea that something can survive out there for so long without being noticed or captured, and at the time, I would play on multiple theories of Bigfoot. Is it flesh and blood? Is it more spiritual? Is it other dimensional? Is it aliens? Still don't have an answer, but I've fallen more into the realm of the fact that it's maybe a mixture of all of them. And I wanted Bigfoot to be real. I didn't think that it was, though. I had my doubts, but I was still more than happy to go out and research because it got me outdoors and it got me an adventure, if you say, So that was my initial start of what I thought about Bigfoot. So I would go out Bigfoot researching a lot. I would look for the common signs of Bigfoot. Never saw one. I have seen some great footprints. But, it's one of those things where you just don't, something like that big to me is like, I want to experience this for me to fully believe it. I was more than willing to believe it. Just want to experience it first. So I had some great stuff, some great evidence, I guess you could say, but I never had an experience, a real experience that I could call a Bigfoot experience. Until one night a friend of mine decided that we were going to go out and take a group of hikers to learn about Bigfoot. People who've never heard about Bigfoot, go on a hike, adventurous people. Let's see if we can find some signs of Bigfoot. We'll teach you what to look for. It was just more of like a fun teaching experience, something fun you get to do to help other people learn. Well, they got about halfway up the mountain. Everybody decided they were done. They all left. We were left with just our first two initial people, me and my friend, and then his friend, which came for the experience. So he stuck around. We end up hiking up to the top of this outcropping, and we're up there. We're looking at the sunset. We take lots of pictures. We meet a couple other groups of people, and then they head back down, and we're sitting watching the sunset. And then I was like, wait, we don't have any flashlights, and the sun is setting, and we have about probably a good 3 miles worth of woodage to get through before we get out of this to where we can see again to get to the parking lot. Maybe we should start going ahead and heading down. So the guy that comes to have the experience, he just happens to have 3 very dim. There was 2 headlamps and a broken flashlight. So this is what we were left to get down the mountain with. So we take the steep side. The rocks are slippery, and as we're sliding off these rocks, we can hear behind us this shuffle. Like sounds like other things sliding off the rocks right there above us. So we're thinking, okay, we might have something trailing us. We have to get off this mountainside, though, because it's so steep and it's so slick that if we were to encounter anything on this ridge, this mountainside, we would be stuck. We would be hurt. There's these hidden cracks that go down, 15, 20, sometimes even 50 feet. And you have to be able to see to get over these, because we're not on a path at this point. We're taking a short way down to get out of the woods faster to get to level ground. And as we finally get back to, solid ground, dirt rather than rock, we start pulling out some devices and stuff. And I pull up my phone. We start taking this live video for YouTube. And we're listening, and we decide that we're going to, do a couple whoops, do a couple tree knocks. We got some weird sounds, some weird shuffling, but nothing too definitive. And we start discussing that maybe we need to get down to more level ground, because at this point we're still at a very steep slope. We want to get down to where if we have to take off, we can do that easily. And so we get down a little further, more level ground, and that's when we really set off the investigation. We bring out a lot more devices. We start doing a lot more calls. We start trying to draw this thing in. I, being me who I am, I pull out this liquid that's supposed to accentuate your already present pheromones. I'm literally trying to be bait for this thing, whatever is following us. And I put that all over me, and I put it back in my bag. And that's when you can hear the footsteps, the big footsteps kind of coming in closer. And at first we only thought it was one set. Then we hear on the other side of us. And I said, no, that's a whole other entity. Then we start hearing it directly next to us, then to the other side of us. That's when I realized they're closing in on us. Whatever these things were, they were closing in on us. We could hear them. Unfortunately, our flashlights were very dim, and it was very dark at this point. It was totally nighttime. And we can't see more than, I'd say, probably 3 feet in front of us. The flashlights are that dim. And so we're in a standstill at this point. And so I start drawing this, I guess you'd call it sigil on the ground. And for every directional line that I draw inwards, it seems like that's where we start hearing the noises coming from. And it's almost like they're curious by what I'm doing. I'm not saying that the sigil I drew actually drew them in, but they're very curious with me drawing in the dirt with a stick, I'm inside of this circle. And the guy that was with us, the one who came to just kind of for the experience, he's turning white. He's sweating. He already has heart conditions. So we start discussing whether or not we need to kind of get him out of there. And the noises got so close that it was very clear that we realized that the only opening we had was the path that led out of the woods. So we know that they're corralling us out. It doesn't seem intimidating. It doesn't seem dangerous, but it seems as if we stick around, it might become so. So the friend that I originally came with, the other Bigfoot researcher, he goes up and he grabs my arm and he goes to pull me away. It was a very friendly gesture, just trying to tell me, okay, come on, we're going to get out of here. As soon as he grabs my arm and he pulls me kind of out of my circle that I had created around me, you hear just this boom, 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 boom. 4 or 5 really heavy. It was 5 or 6 because it was boom, 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 boom. Because I remember hearing it and feeling the ground just shake and vibrate underneath of me. That's how heavy this thing was stepping. And it got right to the edge where we couldn't see it beyond our flashlight beam, and it stops. And as it's come rushing at us from above us on the trail, I hunker down because I'm thinking, get defensive, look small, don't be a threat. So I get down real low. And at this point, we still have our YouTube live going. I didn't know at the time, but the people that were watching were trying to tell us our feed was cutting in and out, and they could only watch bits and pieces here and there. So they didn't really get to hear and experience everything that we got to hear and experience because it kept cutting in and out. So finally, when it does that, when it charges us, I'm like, okay, yeah, it's time to go. Let's get Kenny out of here. He's going to pass out. So we get down to the bottom, and we think we're far enough out. We're standing in our little circle. We're out of the woods. We're kind of off the path. We're closer to the parking lot at this point. We're like, we got to be far enough out. So we're safe. We're all talking. We're like, this is crazy. This is wild. And then all of a sudden, you hear this little tap, and then next, boom. Whatever was wanting us gone through this just really large rock at this building that was further off towards would be our left. And I was like, we're not out far enough. And I said, let's get into the parking lot. So we get out a little further. We hit this point where it's like you can almost feel yourself walking out of the danger zone. It's almost like you could take a really deep breath at that point. And as soon as we crossed that threshold, we heard this real loud, low, long whoop over the ridge. And I looked at my friends and the other guy, and I was like, oh my God, it's the first time I'd ever heard a real whoop. So I'm freaking out, and I'm like, this is really happening. I'm really experiencing this. This is really happening. And I'm like, okay, is it a cow? Is it a bird? Is it this? Is it that? And I'm going through all these scenarios in my head trying to figure out what it is. And I couldn't find an explanation. And then about 10, 15 seconds later, another whoop up on another ridge up higher.
Oh, they were tracking you. They were totally tracking you.
Oh, yeah. They were definitely getting us out of there. And then once we heard that, it was like a step up. We heard one down here. Then we heard another one on another ridge. Then we heard one up higher on the mountain. And then it started over again. And then it just got to the point where these whoops were so blended. It was just nonstop, like just this nonstop long whoops, 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 like where they were crossing over each other. And it was constant. And I'm like, he's like, we got to go. We got to get out of here. Kenny's going to pass out. So I'm like, okay, let's go ahead and go. I said, just grab my EVP recorder. I want to get this on audio too, because I still have my YouTube video going. I had left it at the hotel. I didn't bring my EVP recorder. I had left it because we were investigating the hotel room because we were having some weird stuff going on in there. We didn't get anything, obviously, but that's why I had it out to begin with. So I didn't get any audio on EVP. Then we get in the car. We're pulling away, and as we're pulling away, I hit process on the live feed. And it said there was an error with processing and cut my 57-minute video down to 9 minutes. So a lot of the stuff that we got cut off completely. The only thing we have is the first 9 minutes that we recorded. But during that 9 minutes, you can hear this real loud, like, whoo, near the camera. And we respond to it. But that's the only thing we have as proof for what happened that night. And here I am. I said, there was an error. I felt my heart sink. And I said, turn around, go back, turn around, go back. I'm like smacking him. Turn around and go back. I got to get audio. He wouldn't do it. He said, we got to get Kenny. We got to get him out of here. I understood. I was so upset because it was still, that sound was still going on as we were still pulling out. It just didn't stop. It never stopped. But that was an intense experience.
How was your buddy feeling afterwards?
He refused to talk about it for probably a good year. And then when he finally talked about it for the first time, he talked about it, he was sweating bullets. While talking about it, he started turning white. He started getting sweaty. And he was like bringing back that same fear that he experienced that day. And I was like, for me, it's different. Like I get over the fear relatively more quickly than others because I've been doing this so long. But it was like retelling that for him, it brought back all that fear, and it got me to see an insight of a perspective from a person who had a cryptid experience like that really traumatized them, because it didn't traumatize me and intrigued me more than anything. I wasn't overly scared until it charged. Then I got really nervous, but I was able to throw that away relatively quickly. So, but for him, it was totally different. The other Bigfoot researcher, he hasn't been back there except for with me one time since. So he was even pretty taken aback by it.
Why would you put pheromone on you?
Like I said,
do you have a death with?
I'm a lot more brave than I ever thought I was. This was the same area I tried to rappel down in a cave with. Not the best equipment, but gratefully my friends stopped me. I'm a lot more brave than I ever thought I was, that's for sure. But I was like, we're getting stuff. And if this is the only way to draw them in, I'm more than willing to do it, because I wanted this experience. I had been researching Bigfoot already for a few years. I wanted to have that experience that drove other Bigfooters into researching to begin with. Usually it starts with that. Mine didn't. I wanted that experience. I was more than willing to do what I needed to do to draw it in, and it worked.
I don't know if I would do that. I mean, the last thing you need is a since we're not allowed to say Pepe Le Pew anymore, some horny deer or bear or muskrat coming up to you and all of a sudden wanting to make sweet love to you in the middle of the forest.
Yes, you make a very valid point, because there are other things in those woods that are much more physical than Bigfoot itself that I probably should be more concerned with. So probably not the smartest move, but in the moment my adrenaline got to me and I was willing to take that risk. I'm not saying I wouldn't do it again, because I probably would, but lesson learned, I guess. Not really. It's probably not a smart move. I highly suggest against it.
No, I think that's great. I really do think that's great. And I think that it would be fantastic to maybe use that, but maybe not on yourself next time.
Maybe on a piece of paper stuck to a tree, or I don't know.
Yes.
But it was a lot of fun. It was an experience that I will never forget. The adrenaline got me attached from then on out. I've been out there twice since then. Nothing happened quite like what happened that time. So, but I'm willing to keep going out there and seeing if maybe I can have another one. But I don't want to definitely do it by myself. Definitely will be taking a team with me every time, because it's in an area where there are bears and stuff. I say that, but I also want to say I know the difference between a bipedal footstep and a four-legged footstep. This was definitely a bipedal charge. It
sounds much different.
Yeah, there was, and you can hear for like an animal on all fours, their footsteps intercross. They're da da da. It's or da 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 da. It's never boom 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 boom. It's not in that cadence ever. That's definitely bipedal.
Oh, for sure. We've had that around where my buddy Little Marky Spender and I have gone to one of our gifting sites that we have out here, and we've heard the heavy footsteps. It's intimidating because they are very large. I mean, if you haven't been in the forest, and a lot of people that listen to this show in the areas, live in the concrete jungle areas. So if you haven't made your way out into the forest and been in the middle of the forest where there's nobody around, and then you hear these thuds on the hard ground, it is intimidating because it immediately makes you feel very, very small.
Yeah,
very small.
Very tiny. Yes.
Yes,
you're absolutely correct. And that, like I was telling you, that's the other time where I really felt like my life was at risk. That's the 2 times I've ever felt like my life was in imminent danger from what I was researching. So it was very intimidating. And the heaviness, the strength of these footsteps reminds you just how much bigger it is than you. So yeah, you do feel very tiny.
Okay, so what's it like to be charged by one of these creatures?
Honestly, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't really get a very threatening feeling off of it. It was more like get your hands off of her, because it was like, because as soon as he grabbed me, that's when I felt that charge coming, and then it came. And I honestly was anxious to see what was going to be at the end of the flashlight when it got close enough, but I was very nervous at the same time. Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do if this large head comes into view? What are you going to do? Like, all these thoughts speed through your head in the process of hearing these footsteps coming at you. So it was more intriguing, I guess. And then it was fearful.
Something tells me you're a shoot first, ask questions later type of person.
Yes. Yes, but I've learned to use my head more and more in the process.
Wow.
Split second decision, yeah.
We have about 3 minutes here before we have to go to break at the top of the hour. Asherah 7 showing that she's got some game in the forest by, spraying herself with pheromones to attract the Sasquatch. You know what some of the rumor is, don't you? That there aren't a lot of female Sasquatch, so a lot of the women who go missing around North America are actually being kidnapped as Sasquatch wives.
I do know that, and also with the whole disappearing children in national forests has been attributed to that as well. So I do consider that very much so when I go out researching.
Did you consider that when you sprayed the pheromone on you? No.
Well, my partner had a pistol, so it's like, if I can run faster than him, he's got a pistol.
You realize there's a good chance that a pistol's not going to stop a Sasquatch.
I do.
Yeah.
And
you might as well bring a McDonald's straw and some napkins to chew on and spit at them through the straw.
You are correct, good sir. I will. I understand that there are risks that come with trying a variety of research tactics, and this was one that left me wide open. I understand that. However, I hope that I can just run faster than my teammates. No, I'm just kidding. That's terrible.
Well, you know what my buddy Mark tells me? Honestly, because Mark and I aren't the fastest people. We'd never win a 100-meter race in the Olympics, that's for sure. But I can tell you this. He goes, Dave, I will always beat you. I said, why? He goes, because I'll just shoot you in the leg.
It's so true. Yep.
And I'm like, thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. You're going to allow me to get manipulated in ways that I do not desire by a Sasquatch or a dog man. And you're going to laugh about it watching Forest Hub from a distance.
Is that just a thing that happens with researchers? Because that was a big joke that we had. Like, who was going to be the sacrifice? Who was we going to trip to get away? So before we even got there, that was the big joke. I really didn't expect to have that quite of an experience, but it was a good one for sure.
Well, you know what? The main thing is you're lucky you were safe.
Yes.
And you were lucky that, all of a sudden, since Bigfoot likes to steal human items, that one didn't all of a sudden, bring out a ghetto blaster playing Barry White.
I don't know. That Bigfoot got some game, so
Oh, well. Hey, teach their own. Teach their own. Asherah, I'm going to get you to hold on right there because we are going to go to break here at the top of the hour. I am loving this lady, Asherah 7. She's got fantastic hair, nice teeth, great stories to share with us. Where we're going in the next half hour, I don't know. We'll figure it out when we get there. In hour number 3, we got Asherah for another 30 minutes. Then, guess what, people? It's Magic 8 Ball night. So get your questions ready if you're in the chat rooms, because it's Magic 8 Ball. We're going to do some predictions tonight. And the SOR Newswire and the Thought of the Day. Jam-packed hour 3 coming up next on Spaced Out Radio. All right, we're clear.
I'm sorry.
They couldn't hear.
Okay, good.
I'm gonna run my dogs outside, and you go.
Okay.
You got to make better perfume choices there. Just saying.
It's a different variety for every
I
season,
know.
I guess.
I'll be right back.
Smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at mightymoosebeard.com today.
The SOR Vault is open for business, and do we have some cool swag for you to pick up? All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the store you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio, and while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Hello, space travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month, and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
Looking for creative ways to get your company out in the public? How about advertising on Spaced Out Radio? Our sales department is waiting to hear from you, and we can work around any budget. From commercial spots to banners to special promotions, there are many opportunities to get your name and product out to our SOR listeners. For a price guide and more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
For the price of 1 cup of coffee a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. The Space Travelers Club is a place where you can interact with other listeners, either live during the show or on our great forum. We want your stories, pictures, comments, and ideas. You'll get live video streams, exclusive content, and be a part of our newsletter. Stay in touch with everything SOR. The Space Travelers Club is just $5 a month at spacedoutradio.com.
Hello everyone, this is Ryan Stacy from the Experiencer Support Association, otherwise known as TESSA. We're glad to team up with Spaced Out Radio to help investigate your experiences on the SOR Sightlines Report. Together, we'll investigate the strange sightings and occurrences you've had. We're looking for answers just like you. So fill out a Sightlines Report on the Spaced Out Radio website, and let's figure out what's going on together.
Hey Space Travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. What to do? What to do?
Why not get Bumblefuck?
4 million Scoville units of pure hard rock. Bumblefoot hot sauces come in 3 flavors. The burning Bumble. Tone it down a bit with Bumblicious and throw the sauce on everything.
Spice it up. Bumble me, baby. Bumblefoot hot sauce. Get it today at cajons.com.
We are scouring the world for the most intriguing stories of your day. Take the time to read up on the SOR Newswire, where our team, led by Captain...
All right. I'm back. All right, we've got just over 1 minute. Think Strong, welcome to our chat room. Asherah Vii, welcome to our chat room.
Thank you. I just popped in for a second.
Oh, yeah. Anna Thorgerson, welcome to our chat room. Oh, yes. Well, we're going to erase your comment right there because that's a troll comment. We don't do that here, Anna. Take your trolling elsewhere. You're more than welcome to hang out. Be one of us, hang out, have some fun, enjoy the woo. We don't troll here, though. All right. Hey, Philip Blair, the Philip Blair. You going to hang out for Magic 8 Ball, or do you want to hang up at the bottom of the hour when we get to break?
I can hang out, yeah.
You can hang out for Magic 8 Ball. It's fun.
Yeah, sounds like a lot of fun.
Keon Henderson, welcome to Spaced Out Radio's chat room. Here we go.
Connect with us. Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio is underway. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We really do appreciate earning your listening ears. I want to remind you that you can tune us in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on TalkStream Live, Revolution Radio, and KPNL. All of our archives are free by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Farinaceous. Farinaceous is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. We continue on with Asherah 7. We've learned about Dogman, Bigfoot, ghosts. This girl's got a lot of stuff going on. And you know what? She might soon be a princess of woo, if we could call her that. Asherah, welcome back.
Thank you. Yes, a variety indeed, for sure.
Now, when you've had these experiences, okay, with the Dogman in your own yard, with now this Bigfoot encounter, why do you keep chasing these creatures?
I really, it's the mystery. Right now the mystery for me is what's the big connection? What's the big connection between Bigfoot, Dogman, other cryptids, aliens, and these strange sort of portal-esque areas that you tend to come across in the wilderness, that's attributed to areas that have high encounter ratings. So it's really the mystery that pulls me in. It's like, why is there such a variety of different types of experiences? Why is there such a variety of different beliefs? And what's the base cause of it? That's what intrigues me, and that's what keeps drawing me in. I really just, it's the desire to just understand. It's the desire to learn about these things. And over the years, I've developed a theory that there's a lot of this stuff that is connected. It all intertwines on this weird, almost alien-esque dimensional way. And my biggest thing is, what's the main string connecting it all? What's the source? Because there's even connections to some spiritual things. Like, there are portal type spaces in the wilderness that give off a very similar feeling that a portal that pulls in spirits at an indoor haunted location do. Why? You know, that's the big answer. Why? What is it and why?
Well, that's the big thing. I mean, it's so hard to find answers for what is going on because all we have is anecdotes. All we
Mm.
have is theories, and there are no real answers to any of these cryptid type questions. Do you believe we're
Mhm.
dealing with flesh and blood creatures, or do you believe we're dealing with something that's a little bit more supernatural?
I think it's both. I'll be honest with you. I think that these are real creatures that um, bleed. Uh, they might get sick. They might even die, but I do know that they are solid creatures that have a sort of spectral uh, quality to them that keeps them from being able to be well known like other um, undiscovered species. Like these undiscovered species, we will come across them. Nobody's really ever came across a solid piece of evidence that hasn't been thrown away by science that these things exist. So it makes you wonder if there isn't a spectral quality to them. And but then there's also the tie-in to UFOs and aliens and the UFO phenomena. And also, Bigfoot experiences tend to be very similar to alien experiences. In all honesty, they go to your window, they tap on your window, they make noise around your house. Some people have even talked about them entering their homes. There's so many parallels with Bigfoot and aliens. I don't know how it could possibly go unignored. You're throwing away a lot of eyewitness encounters and a lot of people's experiences that they swear by because they don't want to consider the fact that they are so closely connected to one another. And then Bigfoot and Dogman, they're very closely connected to one another. Bigfoot is off, or Dogman is often attributed in being seen around areas that Bigfoot is as well. There's different theories on why. Either they're enemies with each other and they're at war secretly with each other, or um, some people say that Dogman is a protector of Bigfoot. There's so many different theories and so many different ideas that are surrounding the whole Dogman Bigfoot connection. You're doing yourself an extreme disservice if you're ignoring that connection. You're not doing real research if you're not looking at the connections between all these. Then again, with the almost portal-like places where there's a high amount of Bigfoot experiences, there tend to be almost these portal type energies where you see the twisting and twirling of the trees in that space where they just almost are getting pulled as they're growing in different directions. Um, that's a very big connection to spirits. You see that a lot in indoor places where you'll get this very dizzying feeling where you just feel like you're spinning, or you can put a ball in the center of a room and watch it go in circles. I've had experiences like that. So that ties into the Bigfoot thing as well. A lot of it is connected. So that's my big question is what's the connection?
And that is a very rare comment that you made in regards to that because there are so few people trying to find out what that connection means.
Mhm.
I know people from Lou Elizondo to Sean Cahill to David Weatherly, Ross Allison, Timothy Renner, Joshua
Mhm.
Cutchin. They all believe that there is almost like an invisible thread that is
Mhm.
sewn in between all of the phenomena that you can't write off anything because we just don't know. And it's the narrow-mindedness of the rest of the community, about 95% of them, who are just strictly paranormal or strictly cryptid or strictly UFO, that believe that there is nothing and no correlation between the two or the three fields, or any field, if you want to include consciousness or psychic
Mhm.
ability or mediumship.
Yes.
So it's very rare, and there isn't a lot of evidence to try and test that. Although, from what I'm hearing, it's starting to be tested very quietly in a number of major universities around the United States. So, for you delving into this, how did you come to that conclusion that this all has to be tied together?
Well, it was always kind of a theory that played in the back of my head. And that's what really drew me out of just the spiritual realm and more into the cryptid realm, is because of all these little tie-ins. Now, at first, it started with just me just being interested in basically couch research, just because I enjoy the idea of Bigfoot and Loch Ness and things like that, just the weird cryptids. So I always would watched all kinds of shows on it. I did a lot of computer research. And in this process of just doing research on something I enjoy, I learned these connections that drove me to start researching them. So that's why I went into researching these things without having my own experiences with them, because I saw that connection beforehand. Now, Joshua Cutchin did play a big part in broadening my horizons on that theory to other aspects, and just inspired me to push myself further to learn more things. That's what kind of drove me to start researching more of the fairy elements and more just like that fairy folklore and some of the stranger sides of cryptids, like gnomes and oh, what's that little gremlin creature? I can't remember the name of it now, but it's a really long name. But that's what drove me to researching those, because I had never considered that part of it before. But it's very similar to some of the Bigfoot experiences, and you get the will-o-wisp. They tend to show up at a lot of different aspects of the paranormal. They show up as fairy lights, jack-o'-lanterns. That's where the whole jack-o'-lantern thing came from, was will-o-wisp. They're also called ignis fatuus. And then they're also attributed to being seen with UFOs and Bigfoot, and sometimes even Dogman, these little wispy lights. And the whole idea is that these wispy lights are basically just leading you astray to get you lost. So then you consider that, and then you start getting into the whole Bigfoot is kidnapping people. Well, what if they're seeing these little will-o-wisp and they're following them? Is it even Bigfoot, though, So there's so many things that tie this together, and it seems like the main thing that seems to be in all of these different varieties of the supernatural is these little white, wispy, or yellow lights that bob around in the act of the experience. So that's where I've delved a lot of my research in, because that's something that I've seen tie all of them together. That's the one thing that I've really noticed that ties it all together with each other. Now you've got one that ties Bigfoot to Dogman, then you got one that ties Dogman to UFOs, and you got one that ties UFOs to Bigfoot, and then you got the portals of Bigfoot tied to ghosts. But the one thing that connects them all is those will-o-wisp. So that's really where my research has delved into. That's one of the things it's delved into recently. I figure if I can kind of start to understand what causes these things, maybe I can understand more of the cause of it all.
For you, what do you want to solve? Because we all want to solve something. Is it about the personal experience and in having that up close encounter, or is it actually about solving some of these mysteries and proving existence?
Many times I will put together an evidence video clip or an evidence file of things that I can use later. I very rarely ever release any of my evidence unless it's like really super cool or I need a second opinion on it. Because it's not really for me to prove it. That's not my main goal. My main goal is very selfish, I guess. I just really feel like I want to know. I need to know. I want to be enlightened, I guess. Just the mystery alone is supporting that drive. But again, it's just not enough. I want to know. I know I never will. However, the chase is very fun.
I could totally see that. And for me, I know for me, my own experiences and what I want to experience, it's selfish. It goes beyond the show. It goes beyond, explaining or trying to find the answers to everything that's kind of going on here. It's literally about my own personal experience.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I'd love to talk about the things I've learned. That's another big drive of mine. If I can share whatever knowledge I've gained by the research I've done, and somebody can share their knowledge with me, I feel like that's the way to really grow as a researcher, is to collaborate. Because when you're looking at it from a one-sided perspective, you tend to go very blind very quickly. However, if you have somebody opening different avenues and maybe some different research techniques and different theories to play around with, to do your own research techniques on, that's what really makes you grow as an investigator, is just being able to work and collaborate with other investigators. And to get to share my knowledge is just something I enjoy. And I love to learn as well. So I like learning from other people as well. So I feel like if we just get together and we collaborate, we stop being blind, stop putting blinders on. There is other stuff to investigate that very much would be useful to anybody's, I guess you could say, specialty. Some people specialize in ghosts. Some people specialize in Bigfoot. Don't let that be all you research, though, because then you're just setting yourself up for some serious failure, because you're only going to go one way. You're not broadening your horizons. You're not expanding your knowledge.
How has the pandemic affected your own research in getting out there?
I have only been able to do a couple residential cases, and I've done some hiking and stuff like that. But it's put a damper on it. A lot of the research I've had to do has been a lot of couch research, I would call it. It's really hard to get out there when a lot of these places are closed. They even closed like some of the common areas at the state park just because they had benches there. So you couldn't even get back to an area to even walk around and hike. So to get out to some of these more remote places, there's a place out where I live that's a road, just nothing but caves. And I would go and travel these caves all the time. Everything was shut down. Even the caves, even the nature places, like you couldn't even get into nature anymore, it seemed like. So it was very hard. I really went stir crazy because I'm very much outdoor person, and I was working from home, and not being outside was just really killing me. So I'm really looking forward to this summer because I have a lot of fun things planned with some friends. I've already gotten some pretty cool stuff. I just went on a ghost investigation and caught a great piece of evidence where there was smoke that was just free floating around the room, going from person to person, and it had a sweet cigar smell. So that was kind of fun. And then I've got some hikes set up. So I'm really looking forward to the summer. I'm hoping that nothing puts a damper on it.
Yeah, hopefully something comes up here soon, because we got to get this going. We got to, just get people healthy, and that way we could start getting back into doing what we need to do, which is go find some of these cryptid monsters, go track them on
Yes.
down. That
Yes.
is completely for sure in regards to the cryptid movement during this. And for you, the way you haven't been able to get on out there to investigate, what's the first thing you're going to do when you have that ability?
I am going to go on a hike with a lot of people. There's some people that have really been looking forward to maybe trying out some Bigfoot investigations. I'm really excited to be working alongside with the NADP coming up late summer. And that's going to be a really cool investigation. I think it's going to be promising. And we'll be going out to the land between the lakes to investigate that really crazy dogman experience that happened quite a long time ago. So I'm looking forward to that. And that's the big one that I'm really looking forward to.
Do you really want to get close and have a close encounter with these creatures?
If I have a team with me, like Nick's team and Jody's team, that are very, very well versed in how to protect themselves and other people, I feel a lot more comfortable putting myself in that predicament. Now, I'm absolutely against hurting any cryptids or anything like that, but I will admit, if I feel like I am being charged or something is gnawing on my arm, I'm going to do whatever I can to protect myself. But that's absolutely a last ditch effort. I'm an animal advocate. I love my animals. And I know these things aren't necessarily animals. However, they are a creature of some sort. And I'm just not up for hurting them for any good reason. So just got to be careful, I guess.
Yeah, we totally got to be careful in there. Because, I mean, as much as I want a close encounter, there's the dangerous aspect of it. What happens if it's one of those rogue creatures that's just angry about everything?
Well, I mean, that's an obvious concern. But like with any other thing that you do, when there's, I mean, I don't even know how to put this properly because I don't know if everybody would be able to understand this. The drive to research overpowers that fear by far. Now, in the moment, you do feel that fear. However, that adrenaline and that desire to research trumps it in the end, honestly. It's you that's why you end up getting back out there after you put yourself in a fearful predicament.
Mm-hmm.
It's and I mean that's what I say, and I'm much more brave than I ever thought I was because like I grew up being just a huge chicken, scared of everything. But the things that I'm willing to do and the predicaments I'm willing to put myself in, I've shocked my own self even. And I think that that's kind of a requirement to be a researcher and to break bounds. And you have to be able to be willing to trade some sort of risk for that.
We have 2.5 minutes left with you. And this is a show that has flown on by. But the good news is you're going to stick around to hang out and do the Magic 8 Ball with us in the next half hour. But I'm curious regarding your personality and your own persona. How have you changed, and what, as a person, what have you seen in yourself in going into this field, and what have you learned about yourself?
Oh man, that's I am I don't even know how to even answer that question. That's a really hard question for me because to start with, my family, I grew up in a very religious family, and I've separated myself so distantly from my beginning, from where I first started in life to where I am now. It's almost surprising that I've still clung to just a small portion of that religious belief, but I am not. My belief system is nothing like what I grew up with. It's very different. And the reason for that is because of all my experiences. You're forced to change your ideas and your beliefs about things when you encounter the situations that I've been put in. You can't deny some of the crazy stuff that I've seen and that I've been witness to. So there's got to be something wrong with the system and what I was taught growing up. It just pushes you really far away from it. And I feel like that's benefited me. I feel like it's benefited me to think more freely and to go outside of the box and to not be afraid of what other people think and to just be myself. It's really made me just a better person all around. Honestly, I've I've grown more people oriented. I've become knowledgeable in things that I never thought I would even be learning about. It's it's definitely a benefit to my life, and that's why I just don't see myself ever stopping. I'll always research something of the strange.
Why not? It's who you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's part of the mystery. Part of the good stuff that we need to do.
Absolutely.
That definitely we need to do. Asherah 7, I want to say thank you for your incredible stories on Spaced Out Radio that you shared with us tonight. Really do appreciate you taking the time for our audience.
Thank you.
That was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
It was.
And I mean, I don't know if anybody's interested, but I can be found on Facebook, on Uncharted, and at Asherah Vii on Facebook. And you can also hear me on Project Archivist every now and again.
Perfect.
And they play on iTunes.
Perfect. Coming up next, Magic 8 Ball. Asherah's sticking with. And we got the Newswire and the Thought of the Dave. Stay tuned. All right, we're clear.
All right. Are you in a break right now?
Yeah.
Okay. So can I respond to something I seen on chat?
Yeah.
Okay. So I saw something that somebody said. It's Off-World Adam. And he says, if you bring equipment, they will not show themselves. They can see IR. And he makes, or he or she, I'm sorry, I'm assuming you're a male because your name's Adam. But he's absolutely right. IR, I've noticed that animals, not just wild animals, but my own dogs at home, they respond to it. They see it. They know where it's pointing. So my dogs alone, they can see the IR. They know it's there. And also, that's why I broke out the camera when we stopped hearing sound out back of my house with my friend and I. We stopped hearing all noise. So thinking that it wasn't going to work, I went ahead and broke out the camera thinking it would make whatever was there go away. And it did. The sound came back. So I definitely agree with Off-World Adam. And I think that we need to find other methods, maybe not so intrusive methods, which is what I was kind of researching, playing around with the whole pheromone thing, because it's clear they can disrupt and interrupt different waves like Wi-Fi and EMF and all that. So why not try other methods that aren't so intrusive?
Exactly. All right. Just so everybody knows that when we start coming back from commercial here in a few minutes, I'm warming up the Magic 8 Ball right now. Asherah Vii is going to be with us. Warming it up. Warming it up. So just be prepared, people. Be prepared. Put your questions. Remember, they got to be yes/no type questions. You know, the Magic 8 Ball is pretty predictive, so we got to be very, very close to it. All right. I'm excited. I like Magic 8 Ball night. I do.
I'm excited too. I don't know how this goes.
Well, I guess you're going to live and learn.
Yeah, you're a hard man to catch. I've been trying to catch a show here and there, and I'm like, I can never catch it.
What do you mean? I'm here every night at the same time.
I've watched some of your archives, though. They're a lot of fun to watch. It's never the same as live, though.
Mm-hmm. I know. I know. All right. By the way, big thank you to Cat Chaser, Miss Pickles, Eric, and Sig Sauer for an amazing night of Super Chats. Thank you so much for your love and support of Spaced Out Radio and what we do. We really do appreciate it. Thank you. And Cat Chaser, really? All right, I'm going to ask that question, Cat Chaser, when we come back. I am. That's going to be the first question out of the hopper right there. First question out of the hopper. Mm-hmm. There we go. Now we're set. How's your Pepsi?
It is delicious. It's probably not the right drink for the show, though, I'll be honest.
You know, I quit drinking Pepsi June 1st last year.
Yeah? How'd it go? Was you cranky?
I was drinking anywhere from 2 to 6 a day.
Yeah, you were cranky when you quit,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, I got fat. I'm not going to lie. I got fat.
I can't imagine that. Even the zero sugars will put the weight on you. It does not do what they say it does.
Uh-huh.
Doesn't help.
I got fat. Oh, let's see here. Kirk says Dave likes hairy boobs. Are you going to show me some chest hair there, Kirk? Come on. Come on. Get me all excited. Hi, Susan. How are you? Uh-huh. Kirk has a good beard, though. Solid chin hair. Solid chin hair.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. We have about 45 seconds. All right, get your questions in and put them in the chat room because we are going to start the Magic 8 Ball coming up. Please put your questions in capital letters. Here we go. We rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Really do appreciate it. Want to remind you that if you missed most of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor. Hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Hey, it's that time of night where we get to the Magic 8 Ball. We do this almost once a week here, where we're going to take audience questions and hang on out, and we're going to let the psychic powers of the Magic 8 Ball answer the questions, because this is all important. You never go wrong with the Magic 8 Ball. Well, maybe sometimes, because we got one wrong last week. But nonetheless, you have to, really respect the power. Asherah 7 is sticking around with us for the Magic 8 Ball tonight. Asherah, is there anything that you would like to ask the Magic 8 Ball just to see if we could get this thing warmed up?
Will I get to go to the Ohio State Reformatory this summer?
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a good question to ask the Magic 8 Ball. Will Asherah get to go play with the ghosts at the Ohio Reformatory?
State Reformatory, yes.
Let's see what the Magic 8 Ball has to say. Here we go. Oh, we're a little hazy. We're a little hazy. Intel looks good.
All right.
Intel looks good.
Happy. Full faith in 8 Ball.
There you go.
Yes.
Keep that positivity alive. Now, Cat Chaser asks a little bit of a strange question here. Will Dave, that's me, ever have a Bigfoot girlfriend? I hope not. I hope not. Magic 8 Ball, you're either going to go for a little ride through the studio walls here, or you're going to answer this correctly. Hold on. Intel looks good.
All right.
Apparently, I'm going to go into the forest here in British Columbia, and I am going to go and find myself a female Sasquatch, and we're going to start dating.
Are you sure it's just not because you're going to be the slowest runner?
That's only if my buddy Mark shoots me in the leg. Yes. All right, let's get to some real questions now, because obviously the Magic 8 Ball is going to need some fine-tuning after this one. Let's go here. Let's go. From the audience here. Oh, Cat Chaser is asking, will Asherah 7 have a Bigfoot boyfriend this year?
Keep my fingers crossed. I need this one.
Are you part of the Lonely Hearts Club too? Is that what it is?
I am. It's true.
All right. Let's see what she says. Out of fuel, we'll try later. You got a year.
Man.
You got to wait till next year before you get your Bigfoot
I
boyfriend.
have to wait. Okay.
I'm
I guess
sorry.
I'll just.
I mean, it doesn't say anything about, like Dutch dates or
That's true. Okay. All right. I'll keep my hopes high.
This is relationship. We asked about a relationship here.
This is true. Yeah, I'm not ready for one of those. So I like the response.
All right. So that works.
Yeah.
Dirt Road is asking. Let's see. No, that isn't a question. That's a statement. All right. D. Swiger is asking, will my YouTube channel ever break 1,000? Let's shake it up. D, I'm feeling good about this one. Not going to lie. How are you feeling, Asherah?
I'm feeling good.
All right.
I think it's going to happen.
Me too. Intel looks good, D. Swiger.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to hit that 1,000. You're going to hit that 1,000. I'm going to say by the end of the year. All right. The Philip Blair is asking, was I a moose in a past life? Why, did you have a nice rack, Philip?
I need this one to be a yes.
Oh, so do I. The Magic 8 Ball says, not today, Sheriff.
Oh,
not
man.
today. Look at
No, in
that.
a past life, though.
Apparently, he was not a moose. He was an elk.
bad.
He was an elk.
Even better rack.
All right. Duke at World Bigfoot Radio. And by the way, Duke interviewed me last weekend. So if you go to the YouTube channel, World Bigfoot Radio, you can actually check out our interview together. And we had a good time talking about my Bigfoot experiences. So you can go check that out. Make sure you hit that subscribe button there, too. All right. World Bigfoot Radio, Duke. Can a rake defeat a puckwudgie in a knife fight?
Love it.
Can a rake defeat a puckwudgie?
I'm going to have to go with yes.
It is decidedly so, according to the
yes.
Magic 8 Ball.
I can agree.
This is getting interesting here. This is getting interesting. All right. We continue on here with our Magic 8 Ball. D. Swiger is asking, will Dave sell beard oil franchises to Sasquatch? Sure, make sure that they would smell better, that's for sure. And the answer to that one is, you may rely on it. So apparently I'm going into business to sell beard oil to Sasquatch. You got to be kidding me. I wonder what the profit level is on that.
Oh, man.
I'm always
I don't know.
about,
What type of payment do you make?
I don't
do you
know.
Take?
But I'm always about making a buck. I have no problem with that.
How about a deer a buckhead?
Sure. All right. Dirt Road is asking, I'm looking into buying a campground. Should I? Oh, Magic 8 Ball. We're playing some business here. If you build it, people will come, I think. That's my feeling on it. Asherah, how are you feeling on this one?
I think it'll be a win. I think it'll be fun.
All clear, according to the Magic 8 Ball. Buy that campsite. Buy that campsite. It's going to be good for you. Yeah, 2 years down the road, he's going to be like, it was going to be good, the Magic 8 Ball said. Go for it, the Magic 8 Ball said. Yeah, just, all right. Let's see where else we are here. PBR, hey buddy, how you doing? Welcome to the chat room tonight. He's asking, was the documentary Discovering Bigfoot legit? I'm just going to keep my mouth shut on my opinion on that
I'm
one.
not saying nothing either.
I'm going to keep my mouth shut. But the Magic 8 Ball is going to answer this question because this is why we get into this.
It knows all.
It knows all. Here we go. Reply hazy. Try again later. The Magic 8 Ball is even dodging your question there, PBR.
Smart 8 Ball.
Mm-hmm. But I think you know the way we're leaning on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. All right. I'm going to ask myself a question here. Are there footprints in the snow at my Bigfoot gifting site? Because I can't get there right now. There's still a couple of feet of snow in the forest. I'm still like 4 to 6 weeks from getting out to my area. And here we go. Are there footprints at my Bigfoot gifting site? Magic 8 Ball says, as I see it, yes. Oh, yeah.
You're going to have to get out there if you can.
Yeah, if they don't melt by then.
Yeah,
My goodness. My goodness. I got to get out there. I'm like jonesing to get out to my Bigfoot
Do
site
you
right
have cameras set up out there?
now. We had one camera set out there for 7.5 days. We got nothing.
Wow.
No birds, no chipmunks, no squirrels, no deer, no cattle, no moose, no cats. When I say cats, I'm saying wild cats.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Wow.
Nothing. Sandra wants to know, do I have aliens? Not me personally. She wants to know if she has aliens. All right, Magic 8 Ball. I'm already feeling it, Sandra. You got some serious aliens going on. You got some serious aliens. You got a few grays, a couple of mantids, maybe hiding a couple of reptilians in the closet. But let's see what the Magic 8 Ball has to say. Does Sandra have aliens? Batteries are low. Batteries are low.
Aliens drained them.
I don't think remember I said, we were getting some hazy answers here? I'm wondering if Magic 8 Ball just doesn't want to play tonight. All right, let's try it again. Can you answer the question for Sandra here? Let's see what we say. It is decidedly so, Sandra. You've got aliens. You've got aliens. Justin is asking, is Devil's Tower in Wyoming a giant petrified stump or a rock? Are you on Team Stump or are you on Team Rock? You know my feelings about this. And Asherah here, she's shaking her head as in no. I think she's on Team Rock. Well,
I am.
I mean, we can't really trust her anyway. She puts on pheromones to try and, make sweet love to Bigfoot in the forest. But we'll see here. All right, let's see here. Infinitely yes, the Magic 8 Ball says it is Team Stump.
I like your option better. It makes it so much more interesting.
You're on Team Stump. Are there cattle wandering deep in the woods in Sasquatch country? Yes, the farmers around here, Philip Blair, they allow their cattle to free-range graze. And it's actually, a lot of the ranchers around here do that in British Columbia because, for two reasons. The animals eat healthier food stocks and natural food, but number two, having cattle graze in the forest actually cleans up the forest for potential forest fires. So that's why they do that. So yeah. All right. I think we may have time for one more question here before we have to get to the SOR Newswire and the thought of the Dave. So I'm waiting for a question here. Will the border open up between Canada and the United States by the end of summer so we can have the SOR party in Vegas? Shira, are you going to come to that party?
I will be there.
No,
you just tell me when it is.
Well, we got to wait for the border to open. Will the border open up by summer, Magic 8 Ball? And the answer is, don't count on it. You bastard.
Magic 8
This thing's
Ball.
broken today.
It is.
I need some positivity. All right, let's get to Fast Hemi. I can't trust the 8 Ball tonight. Can't trust the 8 Ball. Fast Hemi's asking, will I ever see a UFO? Out of fuel, try again later. See, everything's pointing that the Magic 8 Ball is done for the night. We're just going to take that negativity and we are going to, just kind of take it into the news wire. How about that? I think that's probably the best thing to do. The news is always changing, which is why we bring you the SOR Newswire at the back end of every show where we get to the weird, the strange, the wacky, and sometimes the odd. You know how everything gives you cancer these days? Like everything. Can't stay out in the sun, cancer. Can't eat too much of your certain foods, cancer. Can't smoke cigarettes, cancer. Can't drink, cancer. Everything's cancer these days, right? And I'm not even making fun of that. It's true. Well, here's another one to add to the list. Apparently, when you buy a new car, that new car smell can give you cancer. Yep. Something about buying a new car and that smell that just makes you feel, oh, so good. Maybe it's the highlights, the fact that you're driving a brand new car, but considering that it's offered as an air freshener, people just seem to like it. But you might want to hold back on snorting in that scent on your new ride, unless you want to develop the big C. A new study published by the Journal of Environmental International has found that commuters might be inhaling dangerous amounts of carcinogenic particles. Some of those particles are responsible for the particular new car smell. The materials used to build car interiors, plastics, industrial glues, foams, and textiles, are unsurprisingly drenched in various chemicals. As the parts come into contact with air, some of those chemical particles start floating off into materials, and those chemicals are very volatile, moving easily from plastics and textiles to the air that you breathe. The study's co-author, David Voles, a professor of environmental toxicology at the University of California, Riverside, when our noses pick up these chemicals, they register in our brains as a pleasant scent. But unfortunately, it's bad news. Bad news. But unfortunately, these chemicals can wreak havoc once inside the human body. Among the particles emitted by car materials are benzene and formaldehyde. Both are carcinogenic compounds, meaning that they cause cancer. But just because they can cause cancer doesn't mean they will do so in every situation. No, so don't worry if you've enjoyed some new car smell lately. It probably hasn't given you cancer. Probably. How positive is that? All right, feel sorry for this lion. Yet the Dutch weren't too kind to him. After siring enough cubs last year, they decided to give this male lion a vasectomy, at the staff at the Burgers Zoo in Arnhem said. Yeah, Thor, who's 11, fathered 5 cubs last year with 2 lionesses. Apparently that's enough, so they clipped his bagels, and no longer will he be able to hang on out, do the deed, and create more cute lion cubs. Why are we doing it? Because he's a proven breeder. So we're going to snip him while he's proven. Not like they can disprove it now. We have a lot of offspring, and we don't want him to have an overpopulation of the genetic pool. Okay, moving on. A rare Arctic walrus has found its way thousands of miles from the Arctic Circle, where it calls home, onto the coast of Ireland. Yeah, 5-year-old Marianne and her father Alan were walking Ireland's Valentia Island on a Sunday stroll when Marianne spotted the giant creature breaching out of the water and onto the rocks. Lucky girl. Houlihan said that they first thought the creature was a seal before spotting the tusks, and said the walrus was massive, about the size of a bull or a cow. He was sitting on the rocks, now kind of posing. At one stage there, he threw up a fin, and it looked like he was giving us a wave, which is always cute when a 5-year-old sees stuff like that. Finally, this is a good story. So, back in 2008, Karen Fox lost her Yorkshire Terrier, Connor, from her Nashville yard. Yeah, it's pretty sad. Yeah, the dog was in her truck that was stolen. Well, 13 years later, the dog has come back. Yes, they were able to find the dog. She's amazed because being reunited with her dog 13 years later, I mean, that's just absolutely amazing. The dog even remembered her, but the poor pooch, though, is not doing so well. She has a sore leg, damaged teeth, infected eyes in her golden years, but nonetheless, she's happy to be back with Mom. Thought of the Dave happens every night at this time, where we ask a question on our Facebook and Twitter pages, then read your responses on the air because we love the audience participation around here. Today's Thought of the Dave is as follows. Describe to me a UFO that you've seen. What did it look like? Oh, well, let's go to Twitter here. Wu-Tang, orange lights dancing in the sky. A silver metallic ball suspended in the daytime sky, a dark triangle surrounded by a cloud that flashed like lightning before it begins to dropping balls of light that would fall and abruptly turn before hitting the trees. UFO, bro. Pure sphere-like travel show and silent, no blinking lights about 1,000 feet above me. Faded out into nothing in my line of sight. No clouds present. Clear sky night. Super bright, then dimmed, got dimmer, dimmed again, till almost translucent, then gone. At arm's length, dime size. Davy, I have seen several. The most memorable was 2 orange balls of light. They passed silently within 50 feet of a group of 12 of us, most of whom were defiant UFO skeptics right up to that moment, and then they blinked out. They were beautiful. Joey, Jurassic Joey in our chat room, a black triangle, no lights, maybe the size of 2 lemons side by side. Or is that limos? There's a spelling mistake there no matter what. I'm just telling you. All right, we got time for 1 or 2 more. J, translucent bubble in the sky like a jellyfish, but a circle. Olaf, 14 lights flying in odd patterns and making shapes, sometimes looking like they were dogfighting. Watched it for 45 minutes. Very cool. Very cool. Angela, I mostly see them from the inside. She got aliens, everyone. She's got aliens. Thank you to everybody participating in the Thought of the Dave. We'll do it all again on Facebook and Twitter tomorrow. A big thank you to Captain Shirk for the SOR Newswire, and of course to the lovely and talented Asherah Vii for joining us as our guest tonight, hanging on out while we own the night. We are Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal rocking in the background with Little Brother is watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at work, at home, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight on YouTube, Spreaker, LGAB, Revolution Radio, Facebook, the Space Travelers Club, and on Twitter at hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends,
we're watching.
We own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo train has docked for the night. But soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Good night. You know, I really don't care what anybody says. We got the best fucking sounding theme song in radio.
Yes.
We totally do.
Absolutely.
We totally
Love
have the greatest theme song in radio, people. Mr. Bumblefoot's Little Brother is watching. That one kicks ass and takes names. It doesn't fuck around with the herbicide prices. You know, it doesn't fuck you at the gas station. It just tells it like it is. It tells it like it is. And that's why we own the night. Seriously. Hey, Super Quest, how you doing, my man? How you doing tonight? All right. Get this shit downloaded. Did you have fun, Asherah?
I did. I had a great time, and I enjoyed telling all of my stories. Well, not all of them, but, you know, some of the better ones. And I enjoyed reading through the comments during the break. That was a lot of fun, too. So was fun doing it live for sure.
Yeah, we got a good crowd. Good crowd
yeah,
tonight.
you're quite the interviewer as well. So
Oh,
the
stop.
times where I was stuck or nervous, you would help me out and jump in there. So I appreciate that.
Well, that's because I use the power of our listener PBR.
Yes, love it.
When in doubt, PBR. I wear my T-shirt. What would PBR do?
I love it. I love it. But I very much appreciate your hospitality, and I
no
appreciate you
problem.
having me come on.
No,
And
no problem. Thank you.
yeah, so I'm gonna jump off here, but I just want to tell you thank you. All right.
You go, girl. Have a good night, okay?
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. She got good energy. She got really good energy. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to take a bathroom break while we're downloading. All right, so just bear with me. Stay here. 97 people. I know there will be 5 who leave, but I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. How many of you are still here? 87. Whoa, we lost more than 5. We lost 10. Holy cow. We lost 10. How cool was that, Asherah? Hey, Randy, oh, excuse me. How you doing, man? Hey, Chris Mo, how you doing? All right, let's bring you guys back up so I can see you. Okay, so there's that part there. Now we gotta find the intro, probably right there. There it is. Day off and it snowed. I'm getting sick of the snow. We got a major melt happening right now, which is good. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, PBR. I mean, I know what I want to believe. If that makes any sense. I would love to interview Alice Cooper. Oh, Randy, you got that right. You totally got that right. We're already starting to prep our machines to get out there. Be blunt. There's a lot of people I'd like to interview. I would say at the top of my list for rock stars would be Sammy Hagar because of his experience with the extraterrestrials and being taken. The plan going forward, Randy, is to get our machines up and running. And once they are up and running, then we can get on out there and start making our way. But we're out where our gifting site is. There's still a couple of feet of snow on the roads. We're not getting very far. We are not getting very far. And I got to do a tire change on mine too. Napster, so negative. You know what? I was never really a big. I was more of a Sammy Van Halen guy than a David Lee Roth Van Halen guy. I know that's taboo to say, but I really liked him. Fapster liked the Eric Sharon one album where he made the album sound like extreme. Oh, is in future, like for myself or the field in general, Randy? Hey, Dan W. from St. Albert, Alberta, the home of Jerome Aginla and the St. Albert Sabres Minor Hockey Association. Okay, what do I plan on doing? I might take down my one gifting site. This will be the final year for the original one. If we don't get any action, I am going to be purchasing a couple of trail cameras just to see what happens in that area. Hopefully I'm going to be spending a lot more time in the bush on the weekends, getting out there and seeing what we can find or not find. That'll be very big for us. What's my goal for all my research? I don't. My goal, Randy, and this is going to sound kind of crass, but my goal is really selfish. It really is selfish, and I just want to, like, when it comes to Sasquatch, I just want to see it again. You know, having seen the two, I just want to see it again, and try and build that trust and that communication with it, and hopefully it works, and hopefully we see something happen. Get into a comfortability of maybe trading gifts, like little peanut butter jars for rocks, quartz rocks, or something like that. So that's kind of what I'm doing. Can I send you some pics of my Sakuach dong? No. No. Yeah, it's been 7 years for me, going on 8 years for me. I'd like to see it again. I'd really, really like to see that creature again. But we're my buddy Mark and I were prepping our machines, and like I said, I need to get new tires for mine, so that'll be interesting. The one I saw didn't have a neck. The one that was closest to me didn't have a neck. It just went shoulders to head. Excuse me. All right, so let's go there. There, drop those in, clear that out. See, it's here. In 2 seconds, guys. We're just going through the editing process right now of the show. A lot of times what they do is they'll tag the cattle, Philip, with GPS, so that way they know where the cattle are at all times. And every now and again they will they'll go out there and they'll check on the cattle just to make sure that they haven't lost. I believe they kind of go by the fact that they will lose a minor percentage to wildlife, whether it's wolves or cougars or coyotes or bears. So that's kind of how that goes. And that one's done. Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? Where's Chris Jarvis? Did he sneak in here? Chris Jarvis? I don't see him tonight. All right. Well, I'm going to call it the night because we're pretty wrapped up here. But I will see you guys tomorrow. Merle is back. And we got Ross Allison and Jake from A Ghost down in Seattle joining us. It'll be a good show with Merle tomorrow night. So you guys will have a good time. Make sure you bring your Merle stuff because we're going to have to Merle pretty hard tomorrow. I want to see a lot of Merles in the chat room. But love you guys. Thank you to everyone. Cat Chaser, Miss Pickles, Eric, Sig Sauer for the incredible super chats. Much love to you guys. And we'll do it all again tomorrow. And thank you for making it a very fun night. We'll talk to you soon.